Prefontaine. That is clutch.
For the second straight year, it has come down to the final game of the regular season for the Toronto Argonauts. With a win or even a tie over the Calgary Stampeders tonight, the Double Blue will host the Eastern semifinal playoff game next Sunday against the fourth-place team from the West. Here we go, Stamps Argos on Wendy's Friday Night Football.
Well, time's great for football, but when it feels just right, we're gonna kick back, relax, watching football on a Friday night. It's Friday, and we're gonna be hard to take. It's Friday, from coast to coast, the CFL is Canada's game. Well, we're all pumped up to party, and we're ready for a fight. Come on, get back, relax, watching Friday Night Football. Boys are too bad, when the CFL football game is up for grabs. It's Friday Night Football tonight.
Well, this much we know. This is the last game of the season for the Calgary Stampeders. The Argonauts hope this is not their last game, and they can go a long way towards deciding that tonight on Wendy's Friday Night Football. Hi, everybody. Dave Randorf with you, Chris Schultz, Jock Climby, and here we are, our last Friday night together, and we're down a guy. Matt's not here. He's in Winnipeg for very good reason. He is now a member of the Winnipeg Blue Bomber Hall of Fame, along with Bob Cameron and a gentleman by the name of Harvey Scribner, who's been around the team for years. So congratulations to each and every one of them. Matt will be back a little bit later on in the show in halftime. As for tonight, you heard it in the tease. It's pretty simple for Toronto after their big win last Friday night against Montreal. They control their playoff destiny, guys. A win, and they're in. Actually, a win or tie, and they're in, Chelsea. But that doesn't rhyme. It doesn't flow as nicely.
No, it doesn't, Dave. But good try, though.
Yeah,
but, hey, tonight it's about the quarterback, and it's about Marcus Brady. You know, every quarterback goes into a game, and they have a priority that they have to achieve, a skill that they have to master. With Marcus Brady last week, he had to make the single big play to offset the extreme pressure that the Alouettes used right across the defensive front. And boy, did he do it. He did it by throwing it to specific areas, having the receivers adjust and making plays. And then when Montreal backed off, he ran the football effectively, and he scored touchdowns himself. Good job. But in this game, he's going against an exact opposite defense. With the Calgary Stampeders, Marcus Brady has to be patient because the Stampeders, they're a four-man rush team. They'll drop as many as 8. So Brady has to be patient, see what Calgary gives him, take what Calgary gives him. It's a completely different skill set. We'll see if he can do it, John.
What's interesting, Schultz, is that the future Hall of Famer Damon Allen took some snaps in practice this week, but they still decided to go with Marcus Brady. I think it's because of what Schultz is talking about, and that's playmaking ability. But it's not stats. And you look at Marcus, what he did last week. In fact, he was only 8 for 17, 139 yards. That's not normally good enough, but they like the fact that the guy makes plays. The other thing they like is the fact that this guy is very calm in the huddle. He, in fact, apparently knows offense even better than Damon Allen does. He elevates the play of those around him. So he's going to be key for the Argos going up against a very young quarterback in the Calgary Stampeders.
Yeah, and as we show you the starting quarterbacks, I don't know, it just all seems too easy for Toronto tonight. When you look at the circumstances, we'll wait and see. Corey Paws, a fifth stringer. I didn't even know there was such a thing as a fifth string.
Oh, they exist, Dave.
Marcus Brady going for Toronto.
We begin the final weekend of the regular season with one playoff spot in the East still up for grabs.
Argos win, and they're in second place in the East. The Stamps are playing for pride.
Stampeders and the Argonauts, the kickoff coming right up.
The CFL on TSN is brought to you in part by Wendy's, the official hamburger of the CFL. Wendy's, it's better here. By Molson Canadian, I am Canadian. And by Rogers AT&T Wireless. Imagine getting more from your phone.
Skydome, the Argos home since 1989. 2003 has been a year of incredible struggles for the Argonauts on and off the football field. Tonight it's time to put all those distractions aside, win one game, and qualify for the playoffs.
It's been a long year in Calgary as well. This will be the final game for the Stamps no matter what happens at Skydome tonight. Last week's announcements are a promise of better days ahead in 2004.
And more good news to come in Calgary next week.
Head coach Jim Barker has a little added incentive for this one. He was dismissed as the Argos head coach when the team was sold to Sherwood Schwartz 4 years ago. Bounced back last year with the CFL offensive coordinator with the Montreal Alouettes.
Mike Clemens became the emergency head coach of the Argos in 2000. Last year, he led his team to the Eastern Final, and with a victory tonight, Clemens and the Argos are a win away from another trip to Montreal. We're ready to get it underway, and Noel Prefontaine kicks it off for the Argonauts at Skydome on the final regular season game for both teams. The ex-Argo James Hunden returning for the Stampeders, and he's rolled out near the 40-yard line. The Stampeders will use their 5th different starting quarterback tonight. Corey Paz out of UCLA gets the call in Calgary's final game. Paz has 2 key receivers in Darnell McDonald and ex-Argo James Hunden. Up front, Jamie Crysdale is closing in on 190 consecutive starts, which is an incredible accomplishment.
Chance for Corey Paz to show what he can do as a starting quarterback in the CFL. Attempted 3 passes last week as the Stamps used all 3 quarterbacks.
And his first one should have been caught. McGarity couldn't hang on.
Defensively, the Toronto Argonauts in the front 7. It's led by Eric England, 13 sacks on the season. That's number 1 in the Canadian Football League. And the secondary is the ball hawking secondary. They lead the CFL with interceptions, 26 on the season with that group. Adrian Smith, he's the personal leader. He has 8 so far this year.
44 career interceptions for number 12 for the Argos. 2nd and 10, Stampeders. Corey Paz unloads in a hurry, and this one is caught. No, and dropped. Short of the first down. Kamal Peterson had it and let it slip away. So 2 and out for Calgary to begin.
Well, Corey Paz hasn't completed a pass in the CFL yet. That's 0 for 5 now. And apparently his teammates told me before the game tonight that he had a good week of practice, and it was the first time he has taken the offensive reps in practice. We'll see what he can do tonight.
Well, his receivers didn't do him any favors on that first sequence there.
No, they did not.
Duncan O'Mahony back at the Stampeder 25. Bashar Livingston is not in the game for the Argos. Adrian Smith was ready to return that one. It took a funny hop and bounced right out. Damon is down, so Marcus Brady gets one chance to lead the Argonauts into the playoffs. Brady has limited professional experience, so expect the Argos to utilize the running game of Michael Jenkins, Miles Mitchell, and Jackson are the big play receivers. Jude St. John, Chad Folk, and Sandy Annunziata are the mainstays of that Argonaut offensive line.
Season numbers for Marcus Brady. 2 touchdown passes last week in a big win versus the Montreal Alouettes, where Brady came off the bench.
Argonauts begin inside the Toronto 30, and there's no room to roam.
Well, in this game tonight, we have the number 1 and 2 sack leaders in the CFL. Joe Fleming sits in the number 2 spot with 11 sacks on the season for the Calgary Stampeders. Otis Floyd back in the lineup after a suspension. There's your secondary, led by rookie nominee Joey Bose at the safety position. Otis Floyd back in the game, able to play this last one. Was suspended for 1 officially by the Canadian Football League.
Starting lineups brought to you by Tums. Tums tackles heartburn fast. This is 2nd down. Brady escapes, throwing on the run. Morielli was the closest Argonaut receiver to that pass, and it was well away from the intended target.
When you saw Marcus Brady's season numbers, they didn't really jump out at you, but he has found ways to win the game and win some of the games that he's been part of. A lot of the times it's using his legs. We saw just a little sample of that on that first series. He didn't hit with the pass down the field, but he did avoid the pressure in the pass rush.
Here's Noel Prefontaine leading the CFL in punting average. McGarity deep for the Stampeders. No play on it for McGarity as it rolls out at the 40. Right away, the Stampeders improved their field position by about 15 yards.
The CFL Canadian Player of the Week, brought to you by Discount Car and Truck Rentals.
Edmonton Eskimos running back Mike Bradley is the Canadian of the Week. The Richmond Hill, Ontario native and second-year pro returned 2 kicks for 145 yards, including this 92-yard return for a touchdown on the opening play of Edmonton's victory.
The Canadian of the Week, brought to you by Discount Car and Truck Rentals. Call 310-CARS. You can count on discount.
Corey Paz is the 6th Calgary Stampeder quarterback to start this season. They began this way, then they went this way, then this way, and Kennedy got a shot. Smith had about 3 plays last week before he was sidelined with a broken nose and a concussion. So now, Corey Paz tonight.
Keith Smith is available to play tonight if Corey Paz has some problems out there. He did suffer that concussion, and Marcus Crandall is dressed but will be an emergency guy for Calgary tonight.
This is McCullough. Saladin McCullough has a first down for the Stampeders in across the 50-yard line.
But John, if there's any question as to why the Calgary Stampeders did not make the playoffs this year, that graphic really illustrated. 6 quarterbacks have gone through this football team. They have not been able to get any continuity on offense. They've gone through a whole bunch of different receiving cores that has also caused some problems. They have a decent offensive line, and with Saladin McCullough, a very good running back, but they've just had inconsistencies at the quarterback position.
Gain is 11 yards, first down. Stampeders on the ground again. And not quite as much running room this time for McCullough, who had an outstanding game a couple of weeks ago.
Well, he's averaging about 6 yards a carry, and he's now taken over for Lawrence Phillips, who is released. And there's his season number, 643. Hasn't played about half the season. And Saladin McCullough is really the only running back. Lawrence Phillips did it 1 time, but he's the only running back to have over 100 yards in a game. He did it 3 times this year.
And the game referred to a couple of weeks ago was 161 yards against the Renegades. Caught over the middle, and it'll be just short of a first down for the Stampeders. Don Blair comes up with his first catch.
And I'm sure if you ask Corey Paz right now, that would be the biggest throw and catch of his career so far, because it's the first one. And you got to get that one to get going. And the book on Corey Paz is pretty simple. UCLA, number 2 all-time in passing yardage with UCLA. Had the college credentials, was injured in his senior year, then didn't get a good look in the NFL draft and bounced around. Happens to a lot of players.
He was a 4-year starter at quarterback at UCLA. Stamps come up a little shy, but they'll gain on field position here. Adrian Smith back at the Argo 15. Duncan O'Mahony, an outstanding season again as the Calgary punter. As a field goal kicker, it didn't work out quite as well. Here's Smith breaking 1 tackle, and he gets that field position right back with a return out near the 30-yard line, and that's where the Argos begin. John Wells along with Glenn Suter upstairs, and Claude Faig downstairs here at Skydome tonight. Claude?
Well, guys, as Marcus Brady embarks on his biggest start in his young CFL career, he can't help but sense a case of deja vu. As a freshman at Cal State Northridge, his Marauders needed a win against a non-playoff team, the Idaho State Vandals, but they couldn't get the job done. Tonight, a chance for redemption for number 3, Marcus Brady.
And he's going back a few years in the old memory box. First down, Argos. Brady's shotgun. Nice fake to Jenkins. Brady looks to take off himself, and Kelly Malvo was there to make the stop.
John,
at about the 30.
The reason Marcus Brady had to pull that one down is Otis Floyd had jumped the hit screen. It was a screen to the receiver out at the outside, and Otis Floyd, 35, had jumped the pattern. Had he thrown that, it likely would have been intercepted and in the other end zone. That's why he pulls it down and takes off running with it. Played by Otis Floyd early.
2nd and 9. Flags are down, and Brady is wrapped up by 3 Stampeders. And they really did have a team meeting there with Young coming out on top.
Well, you know, the Calgary Stampeders in this play go with an all-out blitz, so Marcus Brady, who will probably see a lot of blitz from Calgary, he's got to recognize this early.
Calgary number 36. Repeat, second down.
Danny Derricott was offside. He was the blitzing defensive back, so now it'll be up to Marcus Brady to find Daryl Mitchell as quickly as he possibly can. He knows if Joey Bosse, the safety, is covering Daryl Mitchell as he is on that play, then it's zero coverage. Safeties come out of the middle. That's blitz. Marcus Brady has to recognize it in a hurry.
The Argonauts look at 2nd and 4 as a result of the infraction. And that should have been caught too as Tony Miles puts one on the ground.
That one was right between the 1 and the 5. No excuses for Tony Miles, who's had a very good season and is approaching 1,000 yards on the year. And in fact, if he can catch a couple of those tonight, he will be over 1,000 quite easily at 9:44 coming into this game, and this one should have been caught.
Better start for Miles against the Alouettes last week when he returned the opening kickoff 93 yards.
You know, with Tony Miles on that play, it's the old coaching point that you get when you're either 9 years old or a professional, and that's the one that you catch the football with your hands. If it hits your body, there's a chance it'll bounce out of there. That one hit Tony Miles' body.
Prefontaine will kick to McGarity. Nice punt by Noel Prefontaine. McGarity at the 25, stopped in his tracks at the 29. On first down, Stampeders keep it on the ground again. One first down for the Stampeders so far. McCullough has been the workhorse offensively for Calgary in the early going.
Yeah, we talked about Corey Paz and sort of his background. Second all-time passer in UCLA history, and that's quite a list when you look at the quarterbacks that have come out of UCLA. A gentleman by the name of Cade McNown is #1 in UCLA history. Now, his career didn't flourish after college.
I do remember the name, though.
But I do remember Tommy Maddox is in the #5 spot in UCLA history. And Troy Aikman, the Dallas Cowboys, is #4 in their history.
On second down, Scott Regenbald got the call, and we'll see how close the Stampeders did get to the first down.
You know, so Jim Barker was telling me Corey Paz does have the credentials when you look at what he's done at college, and UCLA to have numbers higher than Troy Aikman and Tommy Maddox was pretty impressive. Now, he was injured in his senior year. Didn't get a good look. That happens to a lot of players because you come out of college, you've had a great college career, you get injured, you don't get a good look in the NFL or the CFL. Takes you a while to come back, and then you get caught in some politics, especially in the NFL.
Didn't one of your old BC Lion heroes have a career at UCLA too?
John Shire.
I remember John
Yeah.
Shire. Came up as a quarterback, played a little running back and receiver as well before his CFL career ended.
That's the back when I was 9 with my BC Lions hat on at Empire Stadium in the pouring rain.
In the end zone in the knothole gang, right?
You had to wear the hat.
Not quite enough for the first down. So Manny punts it away. Nice return by Adrian Smith the last time. This one looks pretty good as well, in spite of the fact that he had a difficult time regaining his footing. But the Argonauts begin at the 45. Nice field position there. Argos looking to secure a playoff spot at Skydome tonight, Sunday, 12 a.m. Eastern Time. The 2003 Kart Championship World Series is on the line with the Australian Indy 300. Canada's Paul Tracy is in the running there with an opportunity to win it all. So join us for that. The kart season.
Bunch of really fast cars right there. Sunday.
One update. Michael Palmer into the game. Alfred Jackson is out, at least for the time being, slightly shaken up. So 77 replaces number 5.
Mike Morelli was 5 yards down the field offside.
They'll catch you for that every time, won't they?
Yeah, that was a bit obvious. So Palmer gets a chance to play.
Toronto number 18. Repeat, first down.
Been a very tough year for Alfred Jackson with injuries, and Mike Palmer gets a chance to play with Alfred Jackson banged up after a couple of series. And boy, it's been a tough one, and so tough that he's talked this year about retirement. And I had a conversation with him about an hour ago, and I said, think long and hard about it, because you still have football in you, and I believe if he can stay healthy, he has a couple good years left in him.
Brady for the Argonauts faces 1st and 15. Out pattern here, and another drop ball. That should have been caught too, I thought. Well, Knight had the opportunity there. We've seen drops on both sides of the ball.
You know, and very good throws from both quarterbacks that have been right on the money, and both blatant drops. One, Tony Miles on a quick slant, and you're right, Lyle Knight should have had that catch. Ball right in his hands, right on the sideline. A little bit of lack of focus or concentration early on by the receiving corps of both teams so far tonight.
McGarity had one for the Stampeders that was definitely catchable. 2nd and 15. 6:20 to go in the opening quarter. And another play whistled out.
And if you're talking lack of focus and lack of concentration, that's surprising when you look at what's on the line for Mike Clemens and the Toronto Argonauts in this game.
Time count violation. Toronto number 3. Repeat 2nd down.
Perhaps not as surprising when you look at a rookie at quarterback.
Well, maybe that's part of the problem, but you see Toronto, they win or tie, and they clinch 2nd place. That's how important it is. If Toronto loses, then Ottawa plays in Montreal on Sunday. Ottawa wins that one, they take 2nd. So you know, every one of the Renegades in their organization is watching this game tonight, cheering for the red and white.
I would think they would be. Quarterback drive, put it on the ground, and who comes up with a loose ball? First turnover of the game. Does it go to the Stampeders, or do the Argos get it back? Argonauts all around the pile, signaling that they have recovered.
Well, what's amazing about this, if the Argos have recovered it, I think it may have been Marcus Brady, the guy who put it on the ground initially. It kept bouncing around down there, bounced around so much, and Marcus Brady scrambled back into the play, and I think he did get it back. At least he was close in helping out to recover that football.
It'll be 3rd down, Toronto. Antoine Young forced it out.
You see number 3 scrambled back into that one after that ball came out of there. Now he's on the ground and out of the play. Marcus Brady turns around, scrambles back into it. I think he pushed it right into the belly of his offensive lineman.
Prefontaine. McGarity. Stopped in his tracks with a penalty marker down.
That's a big recovery, though, for the Argos. Even though they have to punt the football, you think of the field position after the tackle on McGarity. We'll see what this penalty is, but it's a big change in field position if they don't recover that fumble.
For the Argonauts, Bashar Livingston out of this game, the superb kick return specialist for the Argos. Wayne McGarity definitely in.
Calgary number 15 on the run back. 1st down.
Even more field position for Mike Clemens. So a huge fumble recovery, and they recover their own fumble. And you know, this is a team that understands the pressure of a game like this to end the regular season. They did it last year. In fact, they did it last year against the very same Calgary Stampeders. Won that one, got into the playoffs because of that win, and then took a good run at getting that Grey Cup. Well, almost upset Montreal.
Upset, well, I shouldn't say necessarily upset, but beat Saskatchewan in the Eastern semifinal, and then took a run at the Alouettes. A little underthrown. Stampeders were looking for a call there on the coverage by Ivory on McGarity.
And one thing for Corey Paws in this game is he's got to be careful about those underthrows or overthrows, especially in this game tonight. This Argos secondary leads the league in interceptions. They have 26. Adrian Smith has 8. He's the personal leader. Clifford Ivory, who was right there on that play, he has a couple for touchdowns, interceptions. So Clifford Ivory, 3 on the season, also adds the touchdowns there. You got to be careful throwing against this Argos secondary.
Ivory 3 interceptions on the season, 2 for touchdowns. Here's Corey Paz, and another one on the ground. McCullough thinks he should have had that.
Well, and he also kind of looked towards the official, like there may have been some screening there from Noah Cantor. Noah Cantor rushes the quarterback. He realizes that it's going to be a screen, and then he comes back off. There's McCullough right there. He's going to be the screen man and slip out here. Now watch as this play runs. Cantor will snip out this screen and come off his man, then puts his hand up and almost screens Saladin
Good eyes
McCullough.
there, yes. He did get a hand up. I don't know that they could say it was intentional at that point, although maybe a little
Maybe they likely give defensive linemen the benefit of the doubt when they have to go in pass coverage.
Duncan O'Mahony, another quick turnover by the Stampeders. A one-hopper to Adrian Smith here. Running well on kick returns, number 12 tonight. 1st and 10 Toronto when we return. 0's still on the board. Argonauts have won on the exchange here. They'll have a great place to begin just across midfield at the Stampeder 54.
Chipped away at the field position, and this is sort of a typical game for Marcus Brady, because we showed you Marcus Brady's season numbers. They don't really jump out at you. In fact, he's not completing 50% of his passes when he's had a chance to play. But this team is chipped away in field position. They'll likely involve the running game a little bit more as the game goes on, and they have a chance to get into scoring range here. And Marcus Brady really doesn't have very impressive numbers at all.
Damon Allen started last week. Brady came in relief. Allen has an injured rotator cuff and would be an emergency replacement in this one at very best, right?
He did take some snaps in practice, so he just tried to keep the rust off him, and there he is all time. And you look at quarterbacks in football history, he passed Dan Marino this year, Damon Allen and Warren Moon 1 and 2, both from the Canadian Football League. Warren Moon in Edmonton, Damon Allen his entire career in the CFL.
Both began their careers with the Eskimos, looking back at professional football. 1st down, Toronto. It's on the ground again. Another fumble by the Argonauts, and this time the Stampeders look like they've come up with a recovery. Stampeders have the first turnover. Napusta celebrating and is not going to let go of that ball.
Well, you know, whether it's Marcus Brady at quarterback or not, the Toronto Argonauts just are not sharp. They just don't look focused early in this game, and this is just another example of it. And this is a simple play. This one is back to day 1 of training camp, and I think Marcus Brady got the ball a little high on Michael Jenkins. The running back will not look at the football in a handoff. He has to look at the hole in the defense. At quarterback, it's his responsibility to get the football in the breadbasket.
So here are the Stampeders on 1st down, and O'Shea makes his first big play of the game on McCullough.
You know, Marcus Brady will go right to the bench and discuss things with Damon Allen. And you know the veterans on the Argo football team are right now up and down saying, guys, we better get tuned in a hurry because we've got a ton on the line in this one tonight.
A 3-yard gain for the Stampeders. In actual fact, 2nd and 7 here. Corey Paz stands in, has an open target. James Hunden, the ex-Argonaut, has a 1st down, and again O'Shea catches up to the play to help out with the tackle.
And that's a nice throw there by Corey Paz. He was patient with the throw. He showed confidence standing up in the pocket. He stood up tall and he stepped strong as he went to deliver it. It's a nice composure from number 14. The first time we've actually seen him, as that pocket was starting to collapse around him, take his time, step up and throw a strike to Hunden over the middle.
A 24-yard gain for the Stampeders on 1st down, set up just outside the 32 of the Argonauts. Nice fake. This is McGarity on the end around. McGarity, a straight arm on Antonius Bonner. Argos with a few injury problems down there, Claude.
Well, guys, you're looking at Eric England, the CFL sack leader with 13. He hurt himself in last week's win against the Alouettes, a left toe injury, and he looks like he's re-injured the toe. Wasn't very happy when he came off the field. In fact, slammed his helmet down in disgust. Right beside him is Alfred Jackson, who is also sidelined. He told me he pulled his left quad, so his status is questionable, guys. Argos are going down.
This will be 2nd and 5. Corey Paz between 2 targets on the far side. So McGarity picked up 5 yards on the previous carry, the end around. And then Paz put it between McGarity and the deep receiver.
Yeah, and they didn't convert this turnover and this fumble, but they did move it into field goal position. That one throw from Corey Paz to James Hunden over the middle has given the Calgary Stampeders a chance for the first points in this game.
Mark McLaughlin, who retired for 3 games, is back as the Stampeders place kicker. A 34-yard try, and McLaughlin is 1 for 1, hitting on 77% of his attempts on the season so far. So the Stampeders, with nothing on the line but personal pride as a football team, have the lead on Wendy's Friday Night Football. Fun faces in the crowd. Must be another Fritos Fandemonium night in Canadian football.
Yeah, now and I have a dilemma on my hands. Big time dilemma. Do I go with the barbecue hoops or the Tex-Mex?
Well, I know you recommended both. One lucky fan tonight will get an opportunity to travel to the Grey Cup in Regina with a friend, so stay tuned. We'll find the Fritos Fandemonium winner.
That's a nice lid.
Tonight.
That's a nice lid right there. Danger.
It's so tough to beat the watermelon look, though, isn't it? When you can find the watermelons in season.
So I tried the barbecue hoops the other night, and now I have a dilemma on my hands. Tex-Mex, barbecue hoops. I mean, either way,
Well,
it's a win-win is really the way I look at it.
maybe a few of both. Stampeders have 3 points off the first turnover on a 24-yard, make it a 34-yard Mark McLaughlin field goal. And O'Mahony kicks it off. Humphrey out near the 35. And after John Humphrey's return, it's up to Marcus Brady to see if he can get this Argonaut defense or offense on track.
Well, one way he may be able to start to get a little more consistency is get the ball to Michael Jenkins. They tried to on that last series. Michael Jenkins, 19 carries, 195 yards versus Edmonton. Last week he had 113 yards, and you added up those two, almost the same as the rest of his season. He's had an injury-plagued season, has Michael Jenkins.
Missed 3 games, but he hasn't been 100% in several more. Play action fake. Brady looks over the middle, and it's picked off. Bose has his 2nd interception of the season.
Yeah, it's a big.
And it was right into his midst. Joey Bose has 1 fumble and 2 interceptions in his rookie season in the CFL.
You know, and Joey Bose, every time I've seen him play, has played more and more like a veteran every single time. And all he does here is he's going to read the quarterback, and he's just going to go with the flow of the football and go ahead and jump the receiver. He doesn't bite play action, doesn't have to. He's the safety, the deepest guy back there. He's not accounted for by Marcus Brady, the deep man, slightly overthrown Daryl Mitchell. Joey Bose has his 2nd.
Back-to-back turnovers by the Argonauts. Stampeders picked up 3 points as a result of the first. Saladin McCullough gets a block here and turns the corner. He'll be short of the first down. Nice run nonetheless.
See, Marcus Brady was watching the coverage, and he looked at the coverage, and there was a trailer on Daryl Mitchell. Watch 87 go down the field. Now he's going to pick up coverage right about now. Now here comes the trailer. Danny Derricott's the trailer. Marcus Brady saw him. He saw number 36. What he didn't see was the safety flowing to the football. That's how you play it when you're 1 free in the middle. Go to the football and make a play when you can. And Joey Bose makes a big one for Calgary.
This guy's a keeper for the Stampeders, Joey Bose.
I knew it would come out. You're right there, too. You're on
Lots of confidence all of a sudden. Saladin McCullough makes his way for the first down on 2nd and about 1.
You know what else they like about Joey Bose is his toughness. And last week versus the Saskatchewan Roughriders,
oh, yes,
he took some hits. I mean, there was one on the reverse that Travis Moore peeled back on Joey Bose, and I'm telling you, folks, it was lights out on the rookie. He jumped up somehow, got back in the game 3 plays later, and continued to play well. In fact, he had a pretty big hit of his own in that game. They love his toughness. They love his smarts. He just made a big play for the football team.
Back-to-back turnovers by the Argonauts, fighting for their playoff lives. In short, a winner, a tie tonight for the Argos, and Toronto will be around to host the Eastern semifinal a week from Sunday.
Well, and you look at this Toronto Argonaut team right now, and it's a bit of a puzzle to me. And it's almost like someone didn't set the alarm clock yet, and what Mike Clemens has to do is go and get one at halftime or as soon as he can. Turn it and let the alarm go out, because this team is sleeping right now.
Fair assessment, without question.
Just no focus. They put a couple of good passes on the ground. Tony Miles dropped one. Lyle Knight dropped one when Marcus Brady was on, and then the moment Marcus Brady tries to run the football to Jenkins, the handoff is just off the mark, and that goes on the ground as a turnover, and then Brady comes back and throws a pick. So right now the Argos are sleeping. If they don't wake up in a hurry, Calgary will steal one.
Stampeders have to make some adjustments along the offensive line, with Bobby Singh shaken up on that last play.
The last thing the Argos want, John, is to have to sit this weekend and watch an Ottawa Renegades game in Montreal to decide whether or not they go into the playoffs. You never want to lose control of your own destiny, and that's why this game is important. And maybe they're playing tight. You wouldn't think so because they're a veteran team, but they certainly haven't had the focus they need.
Stampeders continue to grind it out along the ground. It's McCullough again. And he's got a couple of yards, make it a 4-yard gain. Saladin McCullough.
Well, and sometimes, John, though, if you need to spark your team, sometimes maybe it's not offensively, and the Argos may look to their defense, and specifically that secondary. Rich Stubler may need a big play out of them, an interception, something to get some life into the double blue.
Corey Paz, and a one-handed catch by Don Blair. He was tackled immediately by Antonius Bonner. And that will be the final play of the opening quarter, with the Stampeders on top by 3 and threatening to add more to the total.
Somewhere in a room in Ottawa, there's a TV on, there's players watching, Joe Powell's watching. Eric Tillman isn't even sitting down.
No.
He won't sit down all night long. We know Eric, he's pacing around. Hi, Eric, how you doing? They're loving this quarter because Toronto, Glenn and John have pointed out, hello.
You know, I thought in this game that the bottom line would be which quarterbacks would perform. That would be the team that would win. But watch these receivers. They're not supporting their quarterbacks. And the team that gets the receivers to make those catches, that's the team that's going to win. This is the opening play of the game where your concentration and your focus should be at its highest. That's Wayne McGarity. He's a quality receiver. Again, another situation, sure, that's low, but you're a pro football player. Catch that. But the Argonauts are not really any better. You see the disgust with Corey Paz there. Not a confidence-building situation. You look at here, Brady, Miles, drop. That right now is the issue in this game. And if the receivers would support their quarterbacks a little bit better, one of these offenses can really take over the game. Very catchable football. When you look at this Argonaut team and you go back the last 8 games, you know what it is, Jock? A win, a loss, a win, a loss. Oh, that's right. Let's do a dance. A win, a loss, a win, a loss. It's amazing inconsistency.
You're really beating up on my receivers out there, Schultz.
Oh, yeah, I forgot you were a receiver.
I forgot you were a receiver.
But you're exactly right, Schultz. But, you know, it's not just the receivers. Sure, that's way too many drops for one quarter, but there's been lots of mistakes the Argos have been making. And, you know, and we're just going to watch some of the fumbles and some of the interceptions, the things that's happening with the Argos. Let me tell you what I'm seeing here. I'm seeing a football team that is desperate for a win. They know the whole season's on the line, but they also know they don't have to play their best football to win. And that's why these guys have come out and they're not sharp. It's different from last year. Last year, the Argos had to play their last game of the year to win. They won 33-32, and they played an excellent football game. But, guys, I'm seeing a team out there right now that's just hoping things will work their way.
And you know what I'm seeing from the Calgary Stampeders? I'm seeing a team that was criticized so heavily because of the way they played against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. They don't want to hear that next week about how poor they are individually and collectively. I'm seeing a team a little bit more focused.
Well, they deserved every bit of criticism they got last week. And last week in the second quarter, they gave up 21 points. Let's see if they can tighten that up here on the road. Glenn and John.
All right, we're set to begin quarter 2 on our Friday get-together, Wendy's Friday Night Football. On 3rd and less than a yard to go, the Argonauts go gambling, and it was really no gamble at all. Or the Stampeders go gambling, I should say.
Well, this is when you talk about lack of focus from the Argos. You take a look at the numbers after the first quarter, and this tells the story right here. There's the lack of focus. You know, my old coach back in Simon Fraser University, Dennis Kelly, used to walk up and down the field and used to say to the receivers, stick a fork in it, boys. Both teams, receiving corps, have to stick a fork in it right now because they're putting the ball on the ground too much. The guys showed you the drops, and that's been the difference so far.
First down, Stampeders. Saladin McCullough around the corner. Neatly so. Wheaton forced him out.
Nice patience there from Saladin McCullough to pick his hole as he went to the outside and tried to find a running lane.
I'm taking it that Coach Kelly used to hitch up his pants when he gave that speech, because if you're telling that story, you're kind of hitching up
that's what he did.
Yeah.
He didn't say much else. He just walked up and down.
Yeah.
And I think it goes back to the old pigskin, right? It's a pigskin, and if you're dropping it, you want to stick a fork in the pigskin. So that's what both teams have to do, is stick a fork in it, especially on second and long situations.
This is another Stampeder first down. Calgary has had a difficult time in this score zone. McCullough gets inside the 20 and across the 15 to about the 13-yard line.
Saw Eric England all banged up on the sideline with that toe injury, and he's now right at your screen. He's come back. He's playing hurt now. He's stepping in the hole and trying to do what he can, but he just doesn't have the mobility. 13 sacks on the year for England. He had one game with 4, and this is a team against the run ranked 9th in the CFL coming into this one. So banged up a little bit more up front now.
On second down, McCullough again picking his way for a yard, maybe 2. But he'll be short of the first down. He needed 4.
And that's a big play for your defense that has struggled against the run. Now has a banged up Eric England up front, and on a running play they bent a little bit, but they didn't break and put the field goal team on the field for the Calgary Stampeders.
When you look at this Argo lineup, this is as close as the defense has been to what Toronto would look at as full strength for some time. This is the way they'd like to have played most of the season, and the way they began with this lineup here tonight. Field goal try for McLaughlin, good on 1 of 1. And now he's 2 for 2 as the Stampeders have 6 points off a couple of Argonaut turnovers. They'll present this trophy, the Vanier Cup, here at Skydome, November 22nd. Claude?
Yes, guys, I'm with Derek Martin, who's the event coordinator for the Vanier Cup on November 22nd here. Right now, it's looking like maybe Saskatchewan McMaster. That wouldn't be a bad Vanier Cup.
That would be a great Vanier Cup. It'd be nice to have a local team in the game. Saskatchewan obviously been there many, many times over the last decade, so they're a powerhouse, but it'd be a nice matchup to see, I think.
Just talk about how ticket sales are going and where fans can go either online or by phone to get their tickets.
Ticket sales are going well so far. We can go to www.vaniercup.com to purchase your tickets online, or you can also call our toll-free number at 1-866-4-VANIER.
All right, Derek, thanks very much. We'll see you November 22nd. Guys?
And we'll have it for you live on TSN that Saturday afternoon. The Vanier Cup presented one more time.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think McMaster's lost a game this year.
McMaster's having a great run.
Jesse Lumsden leading the way there. I think he has 20 touchdowns on the season, if my stats are correct from my internet surfing this week.
Having an outstanding season.
Yeah, well, he's got the good bloodlines.
Young Jess, yes, he has. Donna was a terrific athlete. Brady on first down. Carried 5 times for 56 yards.
Well, there's simplifying, and then there's that. And that is about as simple as you can get. And I guess when you're struggling, you want to simplify things, but to run a little play action quarterback sweep is about as simple as you can get. No handoff necessary, little fake to Jenkins, and then try and run on your own for what you can pick up. But you're going to have to throw it now.
Argos have managed just 4 yards offense, 2 on that previous play. 2nd and 8, Brady in trouble. He'll be chased down, have to get it away, and it was...
Great job, Oak. Great job.
no one there.
You know,
Otis Floyd was the closest player to the ball when it was all said and done.
You know, and we didn't really elaborate on Otis Floyd's situation early on, but you know, it's good that he's back, and I think ideally this thing worked out perfectly because, and let me explain that. What happened, Otis Floyd was suspended for the rest of the season by the league initially with a helmet throwing incidents that hit an official. I thought the right decision at the time because you just can't have that in the game, and Floyd knows it. He knows that was out of character as well for Otis Floyd. He is not a dirty player. But because of the Players Association agreement, 1 game is as long as a suspension can be for a player, so Floyd came back in. In other words, the message from the league was correct, and Floyd ended up getting to play his last game of the year.
And actually, he missed 2 games as a result of the situation because the appeal came late. So he sat out 2, and he's back tonight. This will be the Stampeders' final game of 2003, no matter what. On Sunday afternoon, this could be a meaningful match. Ottawa at Montreal. Will the Renegades still have a playoff hope alive by the time they get to Molson Stadium? We'll be there for that Sunday afternoon.
They're hoping the Calgary Stampeders can help them out with that here tonight.
Stampeders on first down. Flags are down. A little shovel pass from Corey Paz. McCullough got it, and Wheaton had him.
Now Wheaton was another one of the Argos that was banged up in the first series and is playing a little bit hurt right now. And then you add Eric England, Alfred Jackson already out of the lineup.
Mitchell is limping a little bit too.
Offside. Calgary number 80. Penalties decline. Second down.
And Bashar Livingston not even dressed tonight on the special teams because he was injured last week. So some injuries piling up here on Mike Clemens. And you know the Ottawa Renegades are thinking, well, they watch this one at home over there in the nation's capital. This is the time that maybe Calgary can sneak up and grab one.
This will be second down, Stampeders. Paz couldn't thread the needle. Looking for McGarity. The coverage was tight, and there was pressure on Corey Paz as well. What do we got for us, Claude?
Well, guys, you're looking at Mookie Mitchell right now. He looks like he's going to go back in for the next series, but in the previous series, he was stretching out his hamstring, his left hamstring. He could have either been a pull or maybe perhaps a cramp of some kind, but I guess the importance of this game, and it takes a lot to keep Mookie Mitchell down. It looks like he'll be back in, guys.
Well, and he comes into this game 135 yards away from Paul Mazzotti, #1 all time. Now he's going to have to get on track in a hurry, but he'd like to break that record for the Argos here tonight.
O'Mani for Adrian Smith. Smith had a couple of nice returns. That for about 7, maybe 8 yards. And leading the tacklers for the Stampeders, Andre Arlane.
So now if he wants to get the 135 yards he needs to catch Paul Mazzotti and become #1 all time in Argo history, there's the numbers, then he's going to have to do it on 1.5 legs because he's banged up. I asked Paul Mazzotti before the game how he felt about Mookie Mitchell catching him in the record book, and he said, you know, all records are, like everyone says, are meant to be broken, but it's been an interesting process because I've become not only his general manager for a while, but then his coach.
Brady has a completion for Tony Miles. So Miles is rolled out rather quickly.
So he says, you know, when I look and I watch him approach my record in Argo history, I kind of feel like a dad with his son, and because I've been coaching him. But he said it's like the tortoise and the hare. I did it in a bunch of seasons. He's doing it in half the time.
Yeah. Well, the other point that he was making, though, is if he gets 135 yards tonight, the Argos have a pretty good ball game and likely win.
And they probably win the game. That's right.
2nd and 5 for Brady. Gets some heat. That's Fleming in pursuit. He lost the ball. It's loose. Fleming had a shot at it. The Stampeders look to have recovered. Maxey is in on the bottom of the pile there.
Yeah,
Demetrius Maxey comes up with a loose football.
And I don't know how banged up Damon Allen is, but it might be time. Marcus Brady is having problems with the reads right now. He drops back into that pocket here, and he just has nothing. Now, over on the top of the screen, we had just talked about him. Daryl Mitchell's wide open. He looks to the backside. Now he's just trying to make something happen out of nothing. Puts the ball on the ground, and Fleming over there along with Maxey. Maxey ends up with the fumble recovery. Marcus Brady just trying to do too much when it all broke down on him.
Fleming and then Antoine Young in pursuit. Maxey follows up with the recovery. And on 3 turnovers, the Argos have given the Stampeders ample opportunity to put points on the board. So far, Calgary has managed only a couple of field goals. With a rookie at the controls, and he looked like a rookie right there, Corey Paz, who got tied up in his own feet.
Yeah, he went down. But you go back to that Marcus Brady read, and I think it was Chris Schultz before the game said, you know, quarterbacks have got to take what the defense gives them. And Marcus Brady got locked in. On that play where he fumbled, look how wide open Daryl Mitchell becomes. That's where the read should have taken Marcus Brady. Right to the open man, Daryl Mitchell, who was waiting for the football, never saw it.
And getting open like that, that's why Daryl Mitchell is second all-time among Argo receivers.
Yeah. Has to see the football, though.
On second down, batted down. It'll go as an incomplete pass.
And this is what you love about the secondary of the Toronto Argonauts. They're playmakers. They're experienced defensive backs. And if you go across the board, I think they'd be the first to admit maybe they're not the best man-to-man cover guys in the entire league. But they are playmakers. Adrian Smith, 8 interceptions. And this is another big play off the edge here. You're going to see from the right of your screen from Alonda Steinauer, number 21. He times his jump perfectly, knocks that ball in the air, and if he could get there, he was about 3 yards shy of an interception after the knockdown.
Mark McLaughlin, the kicking president of the Stampeders, is 2 for 2. And he's on tonight, 3 for 3, as the Stampeders open up a 9-point lead, and the Argonauts look to Damon Allen. Injured or not, we may see him shortly. Damon Allen getting set to come in for the Argonauts. He has the helmet on. The injury in his left shoulder, he was deemed unfit to play, or at least start this one, although he did take some reps in practice this week.
Yeah, but this game is too important. I mean, this is a playoff game for the Argos, and he's got the helmet on. Marcus Brady with the helmet off. If Marcus Brady doesn't have a couple dropped early, maybe things are different for him, but he has struggled early in this game, and Argos really have to make the switch.
Mike Clemens got the Argos into the playoffs last year with a win on the final game of the regular season over these same Stampeders. And that's all the Argos have to do again tonight. Win this one and host the Eastern semifinal. Oh, a little wrinkle here. Lyle Knight took it and found Tony Miles. Miles couldn't escape. He gets to about the 33, but still a decent return to keep the Stampeders special teams on their toes.
Well, Tony Miles put one on the ground early for Marcus Brady, but after that, that was on the receiver. After that, it's been Brady that has had problems. He's had problems with the exchange to Michael Jenkins. He threw an interception to Joey Bose, and he's put one on the ground himself. Antoine Young, and it was recovered by Demetrius Matson.
That was the Brady bunch. A bunch of problems. And all of a sudden, Damon Allen is into the game at quarterback for the Argonauts on first down. Michael Jenkins. And we really wonder why Michael Jenkins doesn't get the football a little more frequently.
It's got to be because he's injured. You know, Adam Rita is likely the guy who pulled the trigger. I'm sure he said, called down and said, guys, we got to get some stability in that huddle. Let's put Damon Allen in there, try and protect him so he doesn't take a hit on that bat's shoulder. But we need some stability in that huddle, without question.
4 yards for Jenkins, 2nd and 6 for Allen. He'll put this one up, looking deep. And A little problem in communication there, one would guess. The intended receiver was Mitchell.
Well, Daryl Mitchell looked like that ball dropped. It's going to come over here to the left of your screen, and it's a corner pattern down and to the outside, to the sideline. That looked awfully close to Daryl Mitchell. Look how close it was. And
I just thought he didn't move on it.
Well, he didn't, and I'm wondering, speculating a little here, but I'm wondering if he lost that football in the lights, because Daryl Mitchell is one of the best in the business
He
at
slowed
reacting,
down rather than accelerating.
Yeah, at reacting to the football.
Flags are down everywhere. And here are the Stampeders headed to the end zone.
Oh, baby.
Another miscue by the Argonauts. And Carroll is into the end zone for the touchdown. Terrence Carroll. Now there was a blocked punt.
I believe it was Kai Ellis that got in for the Calgary Stampeders. Now there was a flag down.
We'll check on the infraction, but we did mention the flag down before Carroll hit the end zone.
Calgary number 30.
Oh, boy. Charles
Huge arrow.
And talk about dodging a bullet for the Toronto Argonauts. Whoa, I'm talking about they just dodged a big bullet.
Terrence Carroll into the end zone. No touchdown counted against the Argonauts there, and offside against.
Well, and it's a
Charles
first down.
Ashman, yes.
And it's a first down for the Argos because
it's third and short, actually.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
It gets down to third and short. They were that close to the first down. They put it right at the first down marker. So they'll bring in the big guys and go for this first down.
And they bring in Brady to run it. And that will be the necessary yardage.
Yeah, so now they get the first. So that penalty, huge for the Toronto Argonauts. Number one, it takes 7 points. So that's not dodging a bullet. That's dodging a howitzer. And then get the first down on it.
And that's the first for the Argonauts in this game so far. So Allen comes in to ignite this team a little bit. They're set to kick it away. All of a sudden, a penalty against the Stampeders. And Toronto gets another opportunity. They convert on that, and it's first down Toronto out across the 40 at the 43. Damon Allen has Miles, and he's cut down as he made the catch.
Well, yeah, he took a big one. There's some banged up receivers for the Argos already. Davis Sanchez missed last week's game. He's back in the lineup, and he closed in a hurry and put his helmet right in the hip of Tony Miles. Quick slant pattern to the left of your screen, and here it comes. And watch where the helmet goes, right on that hip and knee area of Tony Miles, and there's not a lot of pads for the receivers down in that area. He took a big one. Now he did get back in there.
7-yard gain, 2nd and 3, Toronto. The Argos trailing the Stampeders 9-0 on 3 Mark McLaughlin field goals. And there's a timeout here.
Well, the Argos, they got the Argo bounce on that series. I mean, Jim Barker had a touchdown and a nice lead as we head into halftime here. If that block punt goes in the end zone and the penalty is not called, and as it turns out, Argos with a first down moving the other way on it. But if ever there was a need for an inspirational speech from a head coach, it'll be from that man at halftime to his football team.
He's not having a good time tonight so far. 2nd and 3. Allen to the far side, has an open receiver. It's Mitchell, turns the corner, and plenty for the first down, and lots to cheer about at Skydome on this particular sequence.
Yeah, and there's the rub to try and get Daryl Mitchell the football, and Damon Allen again, stabilizing factor in the huddle. He knows where to go with the ball. He went there immediately, and he gave Daryl Mitchell time to not only catch it, but turn his shoulders upfield and pick up some yardage after the catch.
Now Mitchell was moving all right on that particular run, so I think you have to be right, and the lights had to have affected the one that he was unable to get close to. Here's Jenkins. Flags were down as Jenkins crossed the 40. So a penalty coming.
Mike Morreale looked awful close to being offside or legal procedure on the play. Big game last week for Morreale, and a few catches for him.
Offside. Toronto number 18. Repeat first down.
You got it. A little bit too quick for Mike Morreale there.
1st and 15, Argonauts.
And really now 1st and 15, unless it's screen or draw, basically takes Michael Jenkins out of the game plan a little bit.
Fake goes to Jenkins. Damon Allen has Mitchell again. He gets about 4 back, but he's still more than 10 yards away from a first down.
Now, in fairness to Marcus Brady, you could see pretty good pass pressure there from the defensive line of the Calgary Stampeders, and maybe this is part of the problem for Brady. I mean, those interior guys right here are going to get pretty good pressure and a good push up the middle. Demetrius Maxey, Joe Fleming is playing off the edge. Look at Fleming, nice swim move up over top. He flushes Damon Allen to the outside. Maxey got a nice push, and that's likely part of the reason that Marcus Brady was run out of this football game early.
So here are the Argonauts looking at 2nd and 12. Allen picking his way through there, and he doesn't get back to the line of scrimmage. Just across the 50, took a hit there on a sore shoulder.
And you just give the huge plus there for the Calgary Stampeders to their secondary. Damon Allen rolled out. He tried to move the pocket to avoid that pass pressure we were talking about, to try and get outside and move the pocket around. But that secondary had thrown a white blanket on all of the receivers the Argos had down the field. Damon Allen had no one to throw to. Let's take a look at the wide side. There's Tony Miles and Mike Morreale. Davis Sanchez, look at him right in the hip pocket up high. Nowhere to throw there. Now Damon Allen's rolling to his left, and everybody's covered.
They faked it, and Allen just missed connecting with Jeff Johnson.
Yeah, Prefontaine actually. He from the punt formation, Prefontaine, who is a tremendous athlete, he rolls out, wants to hit Jeff Johnson, and guess what? Johnson is wide open. He's going to slip out into the flat here. Watch how open he is. If he can get the football in his hands right here, look at that. Everybody's got their back turns, and there is nobody up top. He turns the corner, and he may score with that football, let alone get the first down. This is drawn up perfectly, not executed perfectly.
Prefontaine a little bit high. So the Stampeders get it right back. First down, Calgary at the 50. Saladin McCullum has a little better than a yard.
It's just been that close for the Argos. I mean, just take one more look at how wide open Jeff Johnson. Now everybody's going to turn their back. See, Johnson comes from here and then slips out here. All the guys here are going to turn their back because they're trying to block on the return. So as Johnson gets out to the flat, he's going to, now if you hold it right there, look at the open room. Guy's got his back there. He is still running if he can get that football in his hands.
2nd and 9, Stampeders. Corey Paz. Catchable, and it wasn't brought down by the intended target, Darnell McDonald.
That was a tough one. It was going to be a tough one on Darnell McDonald.
Well, it was catchable, though.
Yeah, he got up there and he tried to get the one hand on it, but I say why it was tough is because it took him back. He was running to the sideline, and the throw took him back into the middle of the field, so he had to turn his body.
Adrian Smith deep for the Argonauts, back at his 23. Duncan O'Mahony inside the Stampeder 40. Low snap, he digs it out. Oh, the charge was on, and O'Mahony is lucky to get that one away.
Clifford Ivory didn't block the punt, but he did the next best thing. He forced a bad one.
Yeah, not deep at all. So Ivory comes through with a big play and gives the Argos a little better field position for Damon Allen. The Argos fighting to clinch a playoff spot at Skydome tonight. Coming up at the half, the boys will all be there. Dunnigan joins the panel tonight from Winnipeg, where he was inducted into the Blue Bomber Hall of Fame last night.
Yeah, congratulations to our partner, and well-deserved. Matt Dunnigan, one of his former Winnipeg Blue Bomber teammates, is in this game. Alfred Jackson, a little banged up.
Big hole opens up. for Michael Jenkins, and that's what the Argonauts have been looking for all night long. They need a little run from Michael Jenkins, and it worked very well right there.
Was that an alarm clock that I just heard?
I think it was.
Was that an alarm clock going off for the Toronto Argonauts? Because Michael Jenkins, you know, he said in the paper this week that he's going to look forward to rehabbing this year. He's got a bad ankle, and he said, you know, I can't make the first guy miss, and it's driving me nuts. He did a nice job on that one.
He did there for a 21-yard gain. Allen under the cover. It's Jenkins again. Puts his head down and fights for extra yardage. He gets the 40, and that's 7 yards this time.
That's what he has to do now because of that. And if you're going to, as a player, decide to play with an injury, like Michael Jenkins has done all year, then you have to alter your game a lot of times to be able to compensate for that injury. And with the bad ankle now, Michael Jenkins can't make the quick cuts that he normally makes, that he's used to making. So he's got to be more of a power back now and try and run people over. And that's what he's done in the last 2 plays.
The Argonaut offense has come to life with Damon Allen in the game. And Jenkins running like that. It was second and a couple necessary. He'll have the first down.
Well, now, and the other thing that this does for Adam Rita's offense is if they get Jenkins going like this, he's now had 3 big plays in a row, then play action means something. Like play action early when you don't have Michael Jenkins going for you doesn't mean anything to the defense. They look at you and go, yeah, whatever. But if you got Jenkins going now and you put it in his stomach and then pull it out of there and bootleg or roll out like Damon Allen is so good at, now the defense has to respect it.
Argonauts did not have any success with Marcus Brady at the controls.
You see, Adam Rita there was swiping off the counter because he had his eraser shavings all over. He
had to make
erased,
a few adjustments.
Erased a bunch of plays and then just went down. Let's just give it to 2-7. 2-7 right, 2-7 left, and let's see if that works for us.
Argonauts first down at the 37. Allen on target again, halfway to another first down, Toronto. Morreale's first catch of the game.
Well, the other thing it does too, even if Damon Allen doesn't go play action, the defensive line for the Calgary Stampeders, if Michael Jenkins has a little bit of success like he's had now, the defensive line will have to hesitate a second. Like these guys have to take a peek now and see, is Michael Jenkins going to get the football? Let's just take a quick second, take a quick peek. Now Damon Allen doesn't have anyone in his face.
Could be up to Joe Fleming to stop this drive, and no one was home there on 2nd and 5.
And there's a little inexperience. There's a little bit of inexperience from Michael Palmer. And Michael Palmer is going to be a good young receiver that will develop into probably a great receiver. He's got a lot of guts and a lot of determination, and he's a pretty good route runner. And he just missed the read there. He had to go hot, which is just look quickly and give your quarterback a target, and he got locked in.
So they faked the last time with Prefontaine. This will be a field goal try, however. Ivan puts it down. Prefontaine puts it through, and the Argos, with less than a minute to go to halftime, are on the board for the first time in this one tonight. A little heat on Mike Clemens, I think, in this one tonight. I mean, when the coach was talking, he didn't want to back into the playoffs. He wanted to win outright and win here tonight. First half was not stellar for the Argonauts. But the last sequence made some sense as the Stampeders look into the final minute here of the opening quarter with about a 4-yard gain.
Well, yeah, and he needs to talk to him. I mean, his defense really has played pretty well tonight, or this game is a lot worse than it is right now at 9-3 for the Toronto Argonauts. And his defense has kept him in it because they bent a little, but they've just given up a few field goals. His offense started to show signs in the last series with Michael Jenkins. See if they can build on that.
2nd and 6. Corey Paz. And there was nobody around for Stampeder for the Stampeders. McGarity might have been the closest receiver to the target, and there was pressure on the young quarterback out of UCLA.
Well, he's only had the opportunity really to step into one throw, that to James Hunden in the first quarter. Since then, he's had a lot of this in his face. This time it's Antonius Bonner off one edge and a good push up the middle. Again, Eric England playing on one bad foot. Nice push up the middle, and he's right in the lap of Corey Paz.
Corey Paz and the Stampeders have the lead, but Paz's numbers are not spectacular.
See, you see the position that Paz was in right there at the end of that play? You can't complete many when you're sitting on your backside. And that's what
Strong observation.
That's what Corey Paz that's what Corey Paz was thinking right there. He's looking up going, I'm not going to complete many from this position.
3 of 11, 36 yards. Stampeders have taken advantage of Toronto turnovers for the 9 points they have collected so far. But again, that score zone for Calgary has been a problem all season long, no matter who has been at the controls for Jim Barker. They haven't been able to finish. Let's see what Damon Allen can do here. He's got long Knight. Good move to get away from 2 defenders. Caught from behind. It'll be a first down with about 4 yards to spare. And 11 seconds on the clock. They'll move the yardsticks, but need a little more for Noel Prefontaine to take another shot at a field goal.
Time for one more play before you put the field goal team on the field. They need about 10-15 yards to give Prefontaine a chance.
9-3, Stampeders lead the Argonauts. Last chance for Damon Allen here. Will he run? Yes. Zeros on the clock. There is no time left unofficially on the stadium clock here. And Allen's run goes for naught.
Well, it's another big play, though, by this Calgary secondary. He had no one to throw to. He had to run, and that cost him the first half.
And Mike Clemens is getting the speech ready for halftime. He's trying to get the Argonauts into the playoffs for the 2nd year in a row.
Wow. Pinball with a quick sprint out of there.
He's going to get his uniform on.
He's going to jot down some notes because somebody's going to have a talk with those guys, and it's going to be Pinball. All right, we got to give a little credit here to Calgary. They pulled up their socks from last week, and quite frankly, they could not have been much worse. But the story tonight is, Schultze, Toronto is frittered away 1 half, and they got 1 half left to pull this one out.
Absolutely. I mean, Toronto is losing an opportunity here. But if I'm the secondary coach of this Argonaut football team, I'm telling my guys, we can change this game in one play, because if you analyze Corey Paz, see how he floats that football? That football is hanging in the air forever. Defensive backs, when they see that, they kind of rub their hands because they know if they break on the ball at the right moment, that's an interception going the opposite way. I'm making that priority number 1. Now, if I'm the special teams coach for Calgary, I'm reminding my guys, in the Ottawa game, Bashir Livingston took the ball back all the way for a touchdown. In the last game against Montreal, they did the same thing for field position. They've got to come out and play great special teams in that third quarter, John.
Schultze, does it look like week 18 to you?
Not even close.
Week 19.
We were talking
Exactly.
about that forever.
It looks more like preseason.
It does.
Yeah, and Toronto did finally have put together one good play, and we're going to show it to you here. And finally, we're going to see them use their star tailback. And here's how they get it done right here. What you're going to have is these 3 guys locking up here. He's going to sift through to the middle linebacker. But what that does, it leaves these guys right there, 1-2, for the running back. And Jenkins is going to do it all by himself by exploding through the hole and up, running over a few guys and getting it done. And one of the things Jenkins does really well, and you can see it right here, is use the stiff arm. And this is Fleming. Joe Fleming right here coming in on him. He just pushes him aside like he's nothing, and that's very impressive. Why aren't they using this guy more? I'm not figuring it out.
Yeah.
They hand him the ball 2 times. You've got a banged-up quarterback.
Yeah, and also
you've got a rookie quarterback.
Physically get into the game. Like, there's too much finesse there. Go attack Calgary if you want to win this game.
You could say the same thing maybe about Saladin McCullough as well. We could see a little bit more from him.
We have
on the
seen
Calgary.
more Saladin McCullough than we have seen of Jenkins.
Yes, we have. Nice job on the telestrator there. But the guy who runs the telestrator is Dunnigan. He's in Winnipeg tonight.
He's jealous.
Yeah, he is. And we're going
that, Maddie?
to hear from Dunnigan in just a moment.
Legends of the CFL and the Cholesterol Connection crew have teamed up to bring you limited edition CFL Legends collector cards. Available at CFL stadiums for a limited time. Have you made the connection between cholesterol and heart disease and stroke? Visit CFL.ca and click on the Making the Connection button to find out more about the risks of cholesterol and when the Cholesterol Connection crew will be at your stadium. Cholesterol is a tough opponent. Get in the game by picking up your free CFL Legends cards and start making the connection.
At the Half, brought to you by Wendy's, the official hamburger of the CFL. Wendy's, it's better here.
Welcome back, everybody. Well, as we've been telling you throughout the show tonight, we're down a man, but for very good reason. There's Matt Dunnigan joining us from Winnipeg. He is now a new member of the Bomber Hall of Fame, along with Harvey Scribner and, of course, longtime kicker Bob Cameron. Matt, you told us before you don't want to make a big deal out of this. So we won't. BC Saskatchewan tomorrow night. So what do you think of it? I'm just kidding. Congratulations to you and everybody. Has it been fun out there?
It's been great. Had a huge dinner last night, combination of the Bombers dinner with the Hall of Fame dinner. It was an excellent turnout, over 1,000 people, and listening to Bob and Harvey and just being back in Winnipeg, recognized in this fashion was a tremendous experience. And to have my family, my parents and my wife and my 3 kids with me was a tremendous opportunity and good time last night.
Well, congrats, but I got to tell you, Jock and Schultz, you're loving the extra airtime back here.
Hey, I have had a lot of comments about the show, guys, and I tell you, everybody out here in Winnipeg loves what you're doing back there. They're all over Schultz and Climby, especially Climby for his rude comments about 4 weeks ago about the Bombers being the worst 7-3 team in the league. But I tell you, they're watching out here, so be good tonight.
Okay, we'll try. Let me ask you, how's Kahari Jones, Matt?
Kahari Jones is not in very good shape. He's still having troubles. He can go forward and backwards. He can't go laterally. He probably won't play at all on Saturday, but look for him to use the modern medicine and what's available to him when the playoffs do come around. He says he's going to do whatever it takes to get on that football field when that happens.
And, of course, big game tomorrow in Vancouver. Danny Barrett's Riders in BC to take on the Lions.
That's right. And I think Saskatchewan, you know, they proved that they can play on the road last week in Calgary. They're going to have another big test on the road in BC. And they're going to be challenged because this football team, the BC Lions, is playing top-notch football right now. And it's a great weekend for the Canadian Football League because everything's still up in the air and there's a lot on the line.
Yeah, speaking of a lot being on the line, how about the MVP race? It's a great race in the West as to who's going to be nominated there. Have you made your decision, or are you waiting for all the games to be played?
Well, I'm waiting till the last game is played, and I think that's an indication of just how close this race is. And I hope that all the other voters are because it is an exceptional race, and they're so close. And we've got such outstanding talent in the most outstanding player category. And I'm looking forward to seeing how Ricky Ray and Dave Dickinson finish the season.
All right, well, enjoy your position sitting on the fence there, Matt. We'll see you back here on Sunday, all right?
I'm going to rip you when I get back too, Dorf.
All right, Matt. Yeah, I'll look forward to that. Bring it on. It's all going to be decided tomorrow in the West, starting with this game right here, Edmonton and Winnipeg, the CFL on CBC. Back with more on TSN in a moment.
Last Friday night, we almost awarded $1 million to lucky Safeway shopper Tone Huynh of Calgary as part of the Safeway $1 Million Touchdown to Win promotion. In the Toronto-Montreal game, a kickoff was returned by Toronto's Tony Miles for a touchdown. Then in the fourth quarter, another kickoff was fielded by Bashar Livingston, who just missed scoring another touchdown by 7 yards. Tone was that close to winning $1 million. The season is not over yet, and it certainly feels like Safeway will be giving the money away sooner than later.
This day in the CFL is brought to you by Sport Check, Canada's largest sporting goods retailer. Sport Check, the best value.
October 24th, 1986, Calgary in Montreal to take on the Concorde. And look at the moves down to the goal line by Rick Johnson, 10-0 Stamps. But Montreal comes back with a quick strike. Running back Sean Faulkner is going to be on the receiving end of this 22-yard scoring play, and the Concorde trailed at the half, however, 17-9. Second half, Rick Johnson into the end zone for Ray Alexander as Calgary wins it. 32-12 was the final. And here are the halftime numbers brought to you by Molson. Jock?
Well, these numbers right here don't look so good. That tells me these offenses aren't playing very well. This number right here, that's the reason why the Argos are losing, because 2 of these turnovers have resulted in 6 points going the other way. Both offenses got to play better if this game's going to get more interesting to watch. And if the Argos are going to win, they better start playing better football on offense.
And those 4 turnovers, remember, they fumbled it once and got it back. So very sloppy half. I wonder if the Stampeder coach is happy with the proceedings. Here's Jim Barker with our Claude Fig.
Coach Jim Barker. Jim, the Argos were supposed to come in here, slam dunk win, everything for them. Somebody forgot to tell your team that.
Our guys are playing their rear ends off and doing everything they can. Corey is doing okay. He's played 2 days of practice, and you know, he's had a couple of balls, you know, where if he takes a little better drop maybe, but those are things that are going to take time, so he's doing all right.
And Saladin McCullough chips in with 93 yards. What have you guys done that way we're able to chase Marcus Brady out of the game?
Well, defensively, I think our defense is just, we put a lot of pressure on him. We give him a lot of different looks, and you know, it's a different thing when you come in as a starting quarterback, and so, you know, we figured we'd see Damon.
All right, Coach, good luck in the second half.
Stamps have 1 half left in their season. What about Toronto? That question could be answered, well, go a long way towards that in the second half.
Stampeders have the lead. Jim Barker and company leading by 6 points. Argonauts did not show much enthusiasm in the first half. Here's Claude Fay.
With Argos head coach Mike Pinball Clemens, Pinner, obviously not much needs to be said. Your team did not look sharp in the first half, not focused. What was the message at the half?
Well, I think the biggest challenge is with turnovers, right? We have to have a level of intensity. There's no doubt about that. But turnovers, protecting the football first. If we protect the football, we're either in the game or on top. So we need to make sure that we protect the football first of all. And the next thing is our intensity has to be greater than theirs. We're playing for the playoffs, and we need to understand that. And so our guys will be focused. This first kickoff return, when we first get the ball, is vital for us. We need a great return to set ourselves up.
All right, Peter, good luck in the second half.
Thank you so much.
Well, here's what Mike Clemens has in mind to begin the second half, something that happened against the Alouettes last week.
Well, yeah,
for the Argonauts.
And he's been pretty good at his halftime speeches, obviously, because to start the second half last week, Tony Miles had this little gem down the sidelines for a touchdown, and that got him going, and they rolled on to a big win versus the Montreal Alouettes. And was it just me, or did Mike Clemens sound a little hoarse?
I think he did. I think he'd been yelling a little bit. It was the Argos over the Ticats, or over the Alouettes, 45-13 last week, and that was a huge surprise to many, as the Alouettes have now lost 3 in a row.
Now they do have Tony Miles back there again on this kickoff return, and along with Lyle Knight.
But they do not have Bashar Livingston in the lineup in this one tonight. John Humphrey out across the 50-yard line, and Damon Allen took over late in the opening half and got the Argonauts their only points and moved the ball much more effectively than the Argonaut starter was able to do.
Well, and you can see Damon's completion percentage is high. He doesn't have a lot of yards, but he was moving the football, generated some first downs, and maybe most importantly, you compare the two, he got some help from his running back, Michael Jenkins, near the end of that first half. So we'll see if that continues for the Argos. Corey Paz, on the other hand, struggled with a couple of drops early and then had a lot of guys in his lap as the half went on.
Nice beginning for the Argonauts, starting at the 50. On first down, Allen puts it up. He's got Miles, and that'll be enough for a first down.
You know, and you heard Mike Clemens one more time talk about the importance of the game for the Argos. And, you know, maybe this year's Tony Miles comes up with a tough but big catch for his football team. You know, maybe this year more than any, John, the Argos making the playoffs is that much more important and that much more pressure with their whole ownership situation and everything else in the balance.
It has been a tough year on the Argonauts, on and off the field. Jenkins for a couple on first down.
So, and you could hear Mike Clemens, and then he went in, and I'm sure at halftime he reminded his football team, maybe not necessarily about the off-field situation, but he talked intensity, and he talked about, guys, we're the team out here that are playing for their playoff lives. We're the team that can still control our own destiny, and I want to remind you of that so you come out in the second half and play with that intensity.
Stampeders are only playing for jobs next year. This is second down. And there's a drop. Mike Palmer was open and couldn't bring that one down. So it's third down Toronto, and that drive ends in a hurry.
Well, they get one from Tony Miles, and then Palmer, who's been forced into the lineup because of the injury to Alfred Jackson early, and Bashar Livingston, who can play some receiver. With him not dressed now, that puts that in Palmer, and Palmer's had a couple now. One on a short hot that he didn't read, and then he put that one on the ground. Should have caught it.
Noel Prefontaine for the Argos. McGarity waits for the Stampeders. Prefontaine, short kick, bouncing down near the 10. And that one will roll through. Not exactly what the Argos were looking for there.
Missed it by that much.
Give the Argos one more point. It's 9-4 on Wendy's Friday night from Toronto. Welcome back to Skydome. Commissioner Tom Wright joins us here in our broadcast location. You're on, Suits.
Tom, let's start with the team on the field, Toronto Argonauts. Congratulations on finding Bob Young for Hamilton.
Thanks,
a
Glenn.
guy who looks too good to be true in a lot of ways.
He'll be great.
But he will be great. What's up with the Argos? Anything new to report there?
Well, as I said at the beginning of this whole process back in the summer, that my first objective and my first priority was to put great ownership back in place in Hamilton and in Toronto, and hopefully have it in place by the Grey Cup. And I'm still working towards that here in Toronto.
We're optimistic that that can happen.
Absolutely, I'm very optimistic that it'll happen. I'm still talking to several groups, but I'm absolutely convinced that we'll have new ownership in place in Toronto.
A lot of people didn't think that it could happen here in Toronto, that it was just such a tough situation, and yet it seems that there's been more than one group.
Well, fortunately, there's a lot of people across this country, a lot of Canadians, that when they see a challenge, they see opportunity as opposed to problems, and clearly our game across the country has had tremendous momentum. There's community-based, and you see some successes in Montreal and in British Columbia, and I think the same kind of people see those kinds of opportunities here in Toronto.
Corey Paz gets more than halfway to a first down for the Stampeders and throws again here. Complete on the far side, but McGarity is wrapped up as the Argos show a little more life here in the second half. So confidence all around as far as you see it right now, and we're still hopeful that something might be announced in Regina.
Well, absolutely, John. I mean, I'm still very optimistic that we'll have the right kind of ownership in place here in Toronto. Community-based, really connected into this the football community here in Toronto. But people that have a business sense and a business vision for what's necessary to make football work here in Toronto. And I'm really convinced that we'll have it in place by Grey Cup.
Tom, thanks very much for joining us.
My pleasure, John. Thanks, Glenn.
Thanks, Tom.
Third down in a kicking situation for the Stampeders. We're early in the third quarter here as O'Mani sets up.
Let go.
Away from Adrian Smith. And it rolls in and comes bouncing back to Smith at near the 10, and he's stopped in his tracks at the 20. A 55-yard punt, 10 on the return. The Argonauts are pinned deep for first down.
Time now for the Tums Defensive Play of the Week.
Kevin Ivan, special teams have been a factor here tonight. Ivan is a special teams player, but this time as a linebacker picks off Anthony Calvillo.
For a chance to win a trip to the 2003 Grey Cup, vote at cfl.ca/Tums. The Defensive Play of the Week is brought to you by Tums. Tums tackles heartburn fast.
SportsCenter follows football, and by then we'll know if the Argonauts are in the playoffs or we'll have to wait till Sunday. So everybody loves SportsCenter.
The large big guys hockey club loves SportsCenter.
And they're large big guys, aren't they?
How do you get that team name on your jersey? The large big guys hockey club.
Well, you got to be big so you can wrap it all the way around. First down.
There it is.
First catch
Yeah.
for Mike Palmer. And Michael Palmer has had a little tough luck, but Damon Allen goes back to him, and that's the key of a veteran quarterback.
Yeah, but that's the read from Palmer. You see, that was the one in the first half that he didn't read properly. He was running up the field, and he didn't turn around and look. That's the hot read. Turn around, and you can bet that Damon Allen at halftime went and said, hey, if you see that blitz coming, present yourself, I'll get you the football.
7-yard gain, 2nd and 3. Here's Jenkins, and it's tough to run against this Stampeder front group.
Yeah, and you know, we should probably give the Calgary Stampeders a whole bunch of credit here. I mean, this is a tough situation for them. I mean, they're out of the playoffs. They come into this game, and to not sugarcoat it from a week ago versus Saskatchewan, they stunk the joint out. They didn't play well at all, and they know it. And they came back, and they're playing hard football here. They have a lead in this game, in a game that means nothing to them other than personal pride. And when you cross the stripes, you want to present yourself as a professional always, and they're doing that tonight.
Sheldon DePusta came up with a fumble early in the game. And it's that group up front, Young, DePusta, Maxey, and Fleming, that is really the strength of this Stampeder defense, or at least it keys what the Stampeders are able to do on defense. And that time they forced the Argos into a quick turnover. Looking for a block here. McGarity turns the corner. Can't quite stay in bounds. Wayne McGarity has had a sensational season with a couple of touchdown returns on punts, a couple on kickoffs as well.
Only just, I want to say about 6 inches is all it was that he stepped on the white stripe. Clearly he was out of bounds, and is that close to a big gain for the Stampeders, who, like I just mentioned, continued to battle. He got the corner, a couple of nice blocks got him there, and see how he gets to the outside. Now watch how close he is. He's going to get a little push from Palmer here, and then one step, boom, there it is.
Still a decent return to set Calgary up at the Stampeder 45 with a first down. Corey Paz, nice couple of fakes in there. McCullough, a nice drive to get across midfield, and he should have the first down. Saladin McCullough is the guy that the Stampeders are counting on to be their running back of the future.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what Saladin McCullough will be able to do once he gets a full training camp under his belt. He joined the team late. Lawrence Phillips was going to be the guy, didn't turn out, as Lawrence Phillips hasn't turned out in a couple cities, and not just in this league. So Saladin McCullough gets his chance, but be interesting to see what he does with a full training camp.
He's a half a yard shy, and this will be for the first down. No penalty markers anywhere, so the Stampeders will get a fresh set of downs here.
You know, and with McCullough, he's the type of guy that Jim Barker likes because of that heart that you just mentioned, that he runs hard all the time. He gives you that effort, and I like his patience and vision as well. You saw a little bit of it tonight as he has the patience back there to wait for those blocks to set up. Sometimes it's not how fast you get to the hole, but that you get to the right hole.
He has averaged 5.9 yards a carry when called upon. So it's a first down for the Stampeders, just nicely on the Argonaut side of midfield. And there was no running room opened up there.
Well, there's a little fight from Michael O'Shea, and that's what I'm surprised we haven't seen more of. At the end of that play, O'Shea got into a bit of a pushing contest and a little bit of left hook, right hook. Let's get going here a little bit. And that's the guy maybe they look to, Michael O'Shea right there, the linebacker. The hole is plugged up by the D lineman. O'Shea's going to slide to it late. See, there's Eric England again. He's playing inspirational football on a bad foot, making a nice tackle. And O'Shea got into a fight after. Maybe that sparks the entire team a little.
This is 2nd and long for the Stampeders. Corey Paz puts it up, open target. He's got a man. McGarity makes the catch at the 20-yard line.
You know what he did? He went up and caught the football in his hands. He didn't wait for the football to come to him.
McGarity made his reputation as a kick returner in this league.
Well, yeah, you keep him in that receiving corps for any length of time, though, and he's going to make plays for you just like this because he's a big play football player. And watch the difference between letting the ball come down to you and going up and getting it. Because you can see the coverage is close. If he waits for that to come down into his shoulder pads, I think
He's
Clifford
taking the hit.
Ivory gets there, and he makes the hit, but he doesn't. He goes up, catches it at the high point.
35-yard gain for the Stampeders. Corey Paz feeling a little more confident now. But McCullough, his target there, didn't turn around in time.
And this is the fundamentals of the game of football is when you get the ball in the air, whether you're a defensive back or receiver going for it, time your jump, extend your body, even though you know you're exposing yourself, and come down with that ball. You see how close Clifford Ivory was. If he waits, Ivory makes a hit, McGarry probably doesn't make that catch. And there's a big play for Corey Paz.
Stampeders in field goal range. Look at 2nd and 10. Just inside the 20. Paz standing in, and it's almost picked up.
Oh, boy.
There were Argonauts all around the ball. And Corey Paz got a bit lucky there. But his receiver went down.
Yeah, Darnell McDonald trying to run a quick slant, and this is a timing pattern on Raphael Ball, so the ball has to be out there before he makes that cut. So this is not Corey Paz's fault. He has to throw the ball before McDonald comes out of his break, and when he went down, it's almost intercepted.
So McLaughlin is in, riding a perfect streak tonight. Flag is down, and that one goes through. We'll check out the infraction on McLaughlin's try from 26.
Going to be against the Calgary Stampeders, so he'll have to do it one more time from 5 yards further back.
Procedure, Calgary, illegal formation number 40, repeat 3rd down.
Yeah, and what usually happens on the field goal team on illegal formation is that the line will bow. And if it bows back and it becomes sort of a U shape, then you don't have enough on the line of scrimmage and you get called. And you're going to see, you see the U. There's the U, the bow.
That's the horseshoe.
Yeah.
Stampeders did their logo. It cost them 5 yards. McLaughlin. Good from 5 further, so he's 4 for 4. And the Stampeders keep rolling along. Toronto's Eric England with 14 sacks on the season has contributed greatly to the Purolator Tackles Hunger program in 2003. Montreal Alouettes lead the way in total sacks, followed by Calgary with Joe Fleming leading the Stampeders and the Edmonton Eskimos next. Over 58,000 pounds of food has been donated to local food banks in CFL cities, the result of the Purolator Tackles Hunger program in 2003.
Inspirational game for Eric England. He's got a toe injury, and it may seem like just a little toe, but toe injuries hurt. They hurt a bunch, and it's tough to even push off, and he's been playing all game on it.
Stampeders kickoff. Coming down to Lal Knights. Nice seam up the side, and Knight is finally forced out by the kicker, Duncan Omani, who got over and ran a little interference. He didn't really put a hit on him, but he got there and forced him out of bounds.
Yeah, and a nice return by Lal Knight, and he gets out and gets down the corner, and he leaves shrapnel all the way behind him because there's some nice blocks for him. Little picket fence down that corner, block there. Nice block. Tony Miles, the lead return man. He gets a block at the point of attack. And
Omani was really blocked right into the
play
saved, there. But he saved the touchdown. He was in position.
Yep.
39-yard return. And again, the Argos begin with good field position across midfield at the Stampeder 50.
I loved what Eric England was doing over there. We just showed him on the Purolator sack totals, but Eric England in that break, he walked up and down. We had the camera on him, and he walked up and down the sideline, encouraging all his teammates, and he just saying, let's go, guys. It's up to us, talking to his defense, and this is our house, and this is our chance at the playoffs. And he walked up and down, and he almost talked to everyone one-on-one. And then he turned around and he yelled to the return team, come on, take it back to the house, and that sparked Lal Knight. He's playing an inspirational game right now.
Vlad Vegas down on the Argo bench. More emotion this half.
No question about it, guys. In fact, on that last sequence, when Lal Knight returned the ball, the Argos probably thought they could have had 6, because when the play was done, Pinner came yelling over at Michael Fletcher, pointed him out, thinking maybe he misread or missed the tackle. not allowing them to score 6, but no question the whole team is a lot more fired up, especially after that catch, guys.
More evidence right there on the reception by Mookie Mitchell, who has been shaken up in this game a couple of times, and Allen finds him in the open.
It's called the wheel route, where you get the post from the outside, a guy to go into the middle, and there's the wheel out, and then up down the sideline. Mitchell is open. Damon Allen puts it on the money to the outside, and looked like Mitchell went hard on his elbow, or maybe was winded as he went down. He'll have to go off for a couple plays.
On first down,
sometimes you don't know where or whom the inspiration will come from on your football team, and I think right now Eric England is bringing some of that fire to this team. Daryl Mitchell with a nice catch. Looks like he may be back.
44 yards on the night for Mitchell.
I think England is inspiring his football team right now.
And on first down after the big play, just a 1-yard gain. Second down for the Argos here. Big play for the Stampeder defense. Allen pumps once, looks to the end zone. Not quite. Miles was the target. No flags anywhere.
Davis Sanchez was right there. He was right there, right on Tony Miles, and Miles tried to fake him out. He tried to go down that sideline, and see right down here in the corner, what he was going to try and do is kind of hold up, and then as the ball is there, he's going to accelerate to the football, and Davis Sanchez, he was smelling what he was cooking, and he ate it because he was right there. He said, no, not on my shift. You're
Come to the barbecue.
I'm at the barbecue, and I had the ribs.
4:09 remaining third quarter. Prefontaine gets the post. Oh, nothing for that.
The nation's capital goes nuts.
They're happy in Ottawa for now, but there's still a long way to go in this one. Mike Clemens has another drive ended rather suddenly. No points for the Argonauts there. Prefontaine off the post, so here are the Stampeders again. And that's Saladin McCullough. Better than halfway to a first down. In fact, he's about a couple of yards shy.
You know, you could ask Noel Prefontaine. You could say, here, I'll give you 10 kicks, and I bet you can't do this again. But you know, it's kind of like when you're playing golf and you put it in the bush and you say, you know, that fairway is so wide and so long, and I missed it. That post is so thin and tiny, and he nailed it right in the middle.
I know the feeling. This will be a Stampeder first down. McCullough on the first carry. And there again, Saladin McCullough has been the workhorse for 5 yards.
And there again, John, was Eric England, who was right over there to make the tackle. And now after Eric England was inspiring his team vocally on the sideline, now he's going out and trying to do it by example, and then this time he's in the stand-up end position, and he slices down. He takes that big hit of Morley. He's got to turn around and create a pile there and create a hole. Saladin McCullough goes down behind him.
Corey Paz feeling a lot more comfortable as this game goes on.
Usually Eric England, I've watched him play throughout the entire season. England will go down in a three-point stance on that defensive end, and he's not been able to because of that toe injury. You look like he's in that stand-up position a lot. I think when you get down in that three-point, now you're putting more pressure because the toe is bent, putting more pressure on it. So he's battling that injury, playing through pain, playing pretty well.
McGarrity's catch, good for 7 yards, 2nd and 3, Stampeders. Less than 2 minutes to go, third quarter. Pause from the shotgun. Whoa, danger zone over there. A little dangerous. The intended receiver was Don Blair.
Well, with the way things have gone for the Argos tonight, you start to get the impression that if they're going to win this football game, they're going to win it on defense. And they're going to win it with a big play, likely from that secondary who's made a bunch of big plays all season long. In fact, 26 interceptions. And that one, Kenny Wheaton very nearly had another one.
Corey Paz good on 7 of 19 for 86 yards. So the numbers are not spectacular, but he's hanging in there as it stands right now with a 12-4 lead. However, most of the Stampeder points have been the result of Argonaut turnovers. This is whistled down. practice play for Duncan O'Mahony. Who moved?
Well, what was happening was the Argos were trying to move around because the Calgary Stampeders were blocking on this punt formation in man. And what that means, they're all going to point to a guy they block.
Procedure, Calgary, number 27, repeat third down.
So as they're at the line, they're trying to organize who blocks who. And while they were doing that, the Argos kept moving around. So right there, McKnight he'll count one, right? See, so he'll count a guy. So they got to go right in here. They're going to start, I got that one, you got that one, and they start pointing and counting. And then if they all move, then they have to recount. And that got them screwed up, and that's why they get the procedure call and have to do it again.
Low snap this time. O'Mahony digs it out. It's not a great kick at all. Barely to midfield, which would be about 30 yards at best. So the great kick by O'Mahony goes for naught. And the Argos get great field position again. Paul Tracy is on course tomorrow night, 12:30 a.m., looking for the CART Championship. So we'll watch Canada's own Paul Tracy Sunday, 12:30 a.m. Eastern Time, 9:30 Pacific. CART Championship of the World Series. Australian Indy coming your way on TSN. So the Argos start on the Stampeders side of midfield at the Calgary 54. Damon Allen can't complain about field position. So far in this half, he had Mitchell open, couldn't get it to him.
Well, he's going to complain a little bit about protection because he did have Mitchell open, and if he gets another split second to throw the football from the guys up here, then he has a chance. And this is a touchdown because you can see now Mitchell's going to go across the middle. Now watch how that pocket collapses. Joe Fleming just tenacious in his pass rush, and down goes Damon Allen. He had another second from those guys up front. He would have had a touchdown throw.
It'll be 2nd and 10 Argonauts. The end of the final 35 seconds of the third quarter. Allen pump fake. And this one is complete to Miles. Tony Miles, huge first down for the Argos. Down around the Stampeder 25.
Again, it goes back to the ultimate team game that always comes down to the individual matchup. Three things have to happen for a pass play to be successful. Number one, Tony Miles has to recognize the defense and get to the right part and open in the middle of the field where he needs to be. He does that. The throw has to be on the money. Damon Allen does that, but he needs protection first, and that time he got it.
Tony Miles picks up 28 there, very close to 1,000 all night. Has another first down for the Argos. So Damon Allen smells the end zone, but it came loose.
They're saying
Joey Bose saying that he had it, but it won't be a turnover going the Stampeders' way. It'll remain Toronto football as the Argo drive continues.
And we're looking forward to seeing the replay on that one. That was close, John.
The ref blew the whistle, thankfully.
Very quick whistle. Again, we'll wait and see the replay, but maybe Toronto may have gotten a break, but they are on the doorstep now. Finally.
Finally. I mean, some nice, intelligent play calling by Jim Barker, because up until this big play that you're going to see, Corey Paz threw the football maybe 10, 15 yards at the longest, but there comes a time where you got to find out if your quarterback can make some plays. That's what he's been doing all day. These little quick outs, let the running back get it in space, and then make him or allow him to use his athletic ability and make some people miss. That's intelligent stuff when you have a young quarterback. But there comes a time where you know that those defensive backs are going to make a break on the first move, and the second move is going to beat them. Now, this is not a great pass by any means. Nice adjustment by the receiver. Calgary has to do that again if they're going to win this game. Got to have a word about Mark McLaughlin. Hey, I've been tough on him going from kicker to president back to kicker. Well, he's made 4 straight field goals. Hey, what do I know? I think this is the quarter where Damon Allen's got to take it over, Jock.
But I think you're right to be tough on him. I don't like to see that back and forth, and it's a tough thing for him right now. I mean, he's apparently changing in his office. He doesn't want to be with the guys because it's uncomfortable for them. But let me just talk about these Argos for a second. This was a football team that was going against the Calgary Stampeders, who played atrocious football last week. You know what? If the Argos don't win this game, I hope there's nobody who feels sorry for them, because they do not deserve to make the playoffs. And Renegades, I know you guys are watching. If you guys don't beat Montreal after Toronto loses this game, and you could have this all to yourself and determine your own destiny, and you don't beat the Alouettes, well, then you don't deserve to go to the playoffs either. It doesn't really matter. Because I think if Toronto loses and then Ottawa loses, well, whoever crosses over from the West is going to win and go on to Montreal in any event. But for the Alouettes, this is the football team on Sunday now They don't want to lose 4 straight. So it's going to be a tough game for Ottawa regardless.
Macho Man.
You are a cranky individual tonight.
I want to see somebody take it.
Aren't we high and mighty this evening? Hey, it's all coming down to the wire, folks, on Friday Night Football. Take it away, boys.
1 quarter to go in the season for the Calgary Stampeders. Maybe a little more for the Argonauts if they can come back and win this.
Someone got out of the wrong side of the bed this morning over there.
Grumpy is.
Old Grumpy Gus.
Here are the Argonauts set up with a chance for a touchdown, which would be the first of this football evening at Skydome. Damon Allen looks to the end zone. Mitchell was his target and couldn't get near it. Coverage was a little too tight on Daryl Mitchell. Now back to the last play of the 3rd quarter, and how close was this to a Calgary turnover for Joey Bosa?
Full rollout for Damon Allen to hit Lyle Knight out on the outside. Nice play for Allen. Good throw. Now, Lyle Knight's not down. The question was regarding the whistle, and I thought the whistle went just before that ball came out.
Well, and that is the ruling as it stands right now. So 2nd and goal to go for Damon Allen and the Argonauts. Looks to the end zone. Will he get the touchdown here? Not quite. Or do they say he rolled into the end zone? There's no official signal.
No, they're going to put it on the 1-yard line.
On the 1-yard line, and they'll have 8 crack at it from there. Miles has the catch, and he's over 1,000 with the reception, but they won't give him anything further than the 1-yard line.
Yeah.
Look again.
Tony Miles had a chance to go over 1,000 with a touchdown catch, put a nice little bow on a 1,000-yard season, and he's so close.
But he's definitely down at the 1. So here we go. Joe Fleming, Demetrius Maxey, Sheldon Napustuk, Antoine Young. A goal line stand to keep the Argonauts out of the end zone. 1 crack at it for Damon Allen. Does he get there? Yes. Argonauts have the touchdown with a veteran, Damon Allen, engineering the drive and finishing it off himself.
And Mike Clements ran down the sideline to keep the field goal team off the field. He's going to go for 2. Down 12-10 now. He wants to go for 2, tie this one up. One puts him 1 point behind anyway. So he's going to go for 2. And just a great drive from that offensive line. And Damon Allen fell in behind it. And then little second effort from the veteran of 19 years. And immediately Mike Clements saw that and he went, hey, field goal team, you just stay back over here. We're going to go for 2 on this one, see if we can tie this thing up.
Scoreboard reads 12-10. Argonauts look for 2. Damon Allen won't get it. Coverage very tight on the pass intended for Daryl Mitchell.
He came from the backfield, tried to go out, fake like he was going to the sideline, come back to the middle, and was covered well.
Coverage by Anthony Malbrough. Well, Charlene McNair, congratulations. You're on your way to the Grey Cup as a winner of the Fritos Pandemonium Night in the CFL, representing Toronto. Some other winners that we've met along the way.
Yeah,
we'll be joining you there.
And you see Charlene, see all the other winners are just like her.
Yes, it'll be hard to distinguish except by team colors.
Yeah. Well, there's no question you know who they're cheering for. But when you look at this group, here's your ultimate Fritos Pandemonium winners, and they are ultimate fans. I mean, they're ultimate fans, borderline Looney Tunes, all of them, and they're going to the Grey Cup.
See, I'm suggesting that next year we might set up a cheer-off between all of the winners. What do you think?
Oh, it would be a big long list, a tie for first. Charlene and Mini Charlene. That's Mini-Me.
And Charlene will be taking her date along with her, I guess.
Does she need a seat on the plane, too?
I would think so. Okay. 1st and 10. Here are the Stampeders still hanging on to the lead. On 1st down, Calgary. McGarity sliding out of the backfield. Corey Paz has not put up spectacular numbers, but he hasn't made many errors in this one.
Well, no, he hasn't, and he's been close. I mean, Kenny Wheaton almost had an interception. Clifford Ivory's been very close. I saw Alonzo Steinauer early was close, but you're right. He's avoided the interception, although his numbers aren't real impressive.
2nd and 5. Stampeders at the 32. The Argonauts with much more momentum in the second half. Damon Allen driving Toronto for the game's first touchdown just a few moments ago to get Toronto within a couple of points of the Stampeders.
Well, now Mike Clements.
Procedure, Calgary, number 50. Repeat second down.
See now Mike Clements is in striking range because now this game is starting to play into his hands. His defense has kept him in it, kept him alive. Now he's got his defense on the field in important time. They need the big stop, but they've got it within 3 with that one touchdown.
So it's 2nd and 10. Stampeders after the penalty. Paz stands in, looking a little too deep. And there were 3 Argonauts closer to the football than the Stampeders' closest receiver.
I just want to show you one more time the league's leader in sacks, and that's Eric England. And he's been working on Stephen Morley. Morley is approaching 350 pounds, and that's what Eric England has done all game long. What you just saw is it's him against Morley, and they've been banging away in there in a battle, and he's got one leg to push off of. It's a pretty good game for Eric England.
Well, Manny has had an up and down night. His last punt was nothing to write home about. High snap, he brings it down, gets it away. Good effort here. Adrian Smith has returned well. And here's another big return for Smith and the Argonauts. Still on his feet. Penalty marker down near the 20. But Adrian Smith moves into the return game for the Argonauts with Bashar Livingston on the sidelines.
The wall is set up because the line for the Argos attack and then peel off.
Calgary number 88. Penalties decline.
It's against the Stampeders, as you might guess from the exhilaration from the boys in blue. Here's Adrian Smith beginning what turns out to be a 53-yard return.
Well, the wall is set up nicely for him. You saw a couple of key blocks, and look at everybody set up nice. Kevin Ivan right there. He gets a nice block. One of the leaders on special teams to create some great field position.
First down for the Argonauts. Allen goes to the end zone right away. Mitchell was the target, and the coverage was a little too tight from Sanchez.
Now, there was a close one. The first guy down the field for Calgary was Matt McKnight, and Raphael Ball was trying to block him. You're going to see 27. Here he comes. He goes right there. Hold it right there, right in the middle of your screen, number 2-4 on the back, and it looks very, very close, like he was on the shoulder pad, and then as McKnight turned, he got a bit of his back. That was the one at the point of attack, and that one they got away with.
2nd and 10, Argonauts at the Stampeder 15. Allen. Lal Knight was the closest Toronto receiver, and the Argonauts will have to kick to take the lead in this game. The touchdown drive fails right there.
2 throws, and twice I think that Damon Allen really had to throw the football when he wasn't ready to throw it. And that's the D line for the Calgary Stampeders, who continue to battle.
Prefontaine is in again. They try to fake earlier tonight. Prefontaine hit the post earlier tonight. Ivan will put it down. Short shot here from 22, and he's got it. For the first time, the Argonauts, trying to clinch a playoff spot, are in the lead. Late start in this one for the Argonauts, but Mike Clemens and company finally have the lead, although it is a precarious one at 13-12, 10:39 to go. A reminder to vote on the Rogers AT&T Wireless Player of the Game.
Hey, let's go, baby.
Imagine getting more from your phone, and there's how to vote on the internet, CFL.ca, text messaging, Go CFL.
Couple of candidates for you. I like Eric England if Toronto can win this game. Saladin McCullough's played well and given some offense to a team that struggled throwing the football with Corey Paz in there. And you know, you likely could look at that defensive side of the ball if Calgary ends up winning this game. They played well as also.
Stampeders with McGarity. Lost it, but he was already down. So Stamps will begin out near the 40-yard line, about the 41.
Usually, football game, offensively, you try and put together 5 to 7 first downs a quarter. If you can get up over 20 first downs, you've played a good game offensively. There's been 3 first downs for the Calgary Stampeders in this second half.
Penalties decline. First down.
Argonauts were offside. Stampeders decline. They'll take the field position they have out near the 41.
So now it's up to Corey Paz to try and keep his defense off the field. Let them rest for at least a couple of first downs here, and then maybe kick a field goal.
Saladin McCullough turning the corner. A yard, maybe 2, but 2 might be stretching it.
Chuck Walsh, who rotates into the defensive line for Toronto, was tackled on the play. Thought it was Jay McNeil.
Holding. Calgary number 50. Repeat first down.
And you got it.
Yeah, I thought it was that bad. And McNeil, what he did is he tackled Chuck Walsh, and he tackled him on the running play, and that now puts Calgary in a big bind and plays into this secondary's hands. This is where you play the football, come up with a big interception.
Corey Paz, the rookie at quarterback, in his first CFL start, looks at 1st and 20 here. Got it away, and he gets back close to the original first down marker as Kamal Peterson comes up with a catch, and a rare one for him on this evening.
Yeah, I like what Corey Paz did, though. He gets back in first in a bunch, and he doesn't think, as young quarterbacks often do,
Doesn't
that I
go
need
for 20.
Yeah, that I need the entire 20 yards in one throw. We can throw this little one to Kamal Peterson underneath the coverage, and then let's eat up some of the yardage, and then come back in 2nd and 11.
9:26 to go. It's the Argonauts by a point. Charge is on. Don Blair turns it into a first down, so back-to-back passes for Corey Paz.
See, Corey Paz, though, had to pause. Because what he read was he read safety blitz, but it wasn't a safety. See right here? Alonzo Steinauer is the safety. Michael Fletcher, the linebacker, has dropped back into the middle. That caused Paz to pause. He hung in there, took the hit, and then threw the strike to Blair.
Well described. Little play action fake. McGarity out of the backfield, and Fletcher had him wrapped up and forced him out on the far side, but I note a marker down there for a penalty.
Well, between McGarity and Fletcher, who had whose hand in the wrong place, a place it shouldn't have been. It's up in the face mask. Michael Fletcher is arguing more vigorously.
Foul, face mask, Toronto number 2.
Yeah, that's
First
why.
down.
That's why. Both players had their hands up in the face area, and it was only Fletcher on the right of your screen. He's the only guy that had a chance at McGarity as he cuts back in. Now watch how they start fighting. There's one, there's up in the face. There's one there, and there's one there. You almost could have called both of those.
It's a question of whose paws were where.
And Fletcher didn't let go at the end. That's probably where he got the call.
It'll be a first down, Stampeders at the Argonaut 40. Little draw play. Saladin McCullough spins for a yard.
That's nice.
And Kenny Wheaton there to make the tackle, number 30.
Secondary helping out on the run. And it wasn't just Wheaton. Kenny Wheaton comes in and he fills the hole, but it's Alonzo Steinauer initially because McCullough wants to come out this way, and watch Steinauer flash. Here comes 21. He'll jump up there. along with O'Shea, and that allows Kenny Wheaton to fill from inside out. So nice team defense from two guys in the secondary stopping the run.
Looked like a good play forming there for the Stampeders, but a better play by the Argonaut defense limits the gain to 1, 2nd and 9. Slight pause for McCullough, and he was grabbed immediately. England again.
Yeah, and England again. Now he's leading by example. And watch Eric England on 1 foot. Morley again at 3:30, and then through Morley right over there with Ivan, Kevin Ivan, and England's right there to make a huge play for the Toronto Argonauts right now. Calgary had grabbed some momentum with some plays, and England stopped it.
Mark McLaughlin in. Perfect so far tonight from 34, 20, 42, and 31. This one is longest try of the night. Blair puts it down. McLaughlin puts it up. Off the post. Oh! That's 2 that we've seen. 1 each way off the post, so things even out.
Sometimes these things have a way to even out.
Still the Argonauts by a point.
Cholesterol is a tough opponent because even if you're in top shape, you could have a cholesterol problem and be hit by heart disease. So if one of these criteria applies to you, or if you have 2 or more of these risk factors, speak to your doctor about being tested for high cholesterol. You want to know more? Call this number or visit this website. Play like a winner. Get tested. It could change your life.
Sunday afternoon, we've got the final regular season game of 2003. Ottawa at Montreal on Wendy's CFL football Sunday afternoon, 1 o'clock Eastern time. We'll know when this is done what that game might mean to the final standing.
And after that field goal went off the goalpost from Mark McLaughlin. Ottawa, hope you're enjoying the game.
Well, it's not quite over.
I was going to say.
7 to go. Here's Jenkins on first down.
I think that was the point when most of the nation's capital, including the football team, management, and everybody else involved with the Renegades, are now talking to the football gods somewhere, saying, come on.
And when McLaughlin put that one off the post, I could see Eric Tillman's hair curling a little bit.
Yeah, it changed drastically. They're watching with their season on the line. Toronto, one more time, they win or tie this game, they clinch second place in the East Division. Ottawa is out.
And will host the Eastern semifinal next Sunday against a Western team still to be determined. Lead on Damon Allen. He escapes, and then he's caught there and wrapped up. So it'll be a punting situation for the Argos. Stampeders get it back in a hurry. And you have to give that front group for the Stampeders a lot of credit in this one tonight.
Well, yeah, and this is the type of game it's been. It's been a wild one in a lot of ways. And we saw some drops early, and No Prefontaine hit a goal post. In fact, he hit this goal post over here, and McLaughlin, he took the other post. He said, well, you hit that one, I'll bank one off the right post. Right for McLaughlin, left for us.
So Prefontaine in a punting situation. Back inside the Argonaut 15. Not a great kick. It's low. This is Wayne McGarity. He's taken a few back this season. McGarity will give the Stampeders outstanding field position. Down to the 50, a couple of first downs away from another McLaughlin try.
Oh, Jay McNeil.
Whatever game you play, play safe.
On red, ready, break.
Joseph looking for an open receiver. Wiltshire patrols downfield. Max takes a pass, scrambles towards the end zone. Touchdown, Max!
A message from the CFL, the Renegades, and the War Ants.
Play safe!
And here's the penalty against the Stampeders on Jay McNeil.
Well, it pushes them back into their own territory. McNeil was arguing with the officials about the push on the sideline. He thought his player, McGarity, was pushed late. He got a penalty for arguing with the officials.
So the Stampeders are pushed back to the Calgary 50.
Well, that's big because they were a couple of plays, not even a first down away from field goal range. The Calgary Stampeders, if they take the ball where McGarity was pushed out of bounds. As it turns out, with the McNeil penalty, now they're pushed out of field goal range and need 2 first downs to really get back into it. That's a big penalty.
Definitely so. So at the 52.
And an avoidable penalty.
Stampeders, yes, after the play. Stampeders are 2nd and 9. Corey Paz stands in. No one home, so Calgary will kick it away, and the Argos hang on to the 1-point lead. They'll get the ball back.
Well, you know, it's been that kind of season for Calgary, but when you're this close, it's a 1-point game, and that's what Jim Barker's saying. He said that's a stupid penalty. And you just didn't use your head. And Jay McNeil's a veteran. I mean, he knows better.
He's an all-Canadian.
He's an all-Canadian. Not characteristic for him to do something like that. But that pushes him out of field goal range. And if the Argos win by 1, it costs them the game.
Adrian Smith has run back a couple of nice punts for the Argonauts. He won't get an opportunity here. Argos begin inside the 20 with 4:23 to go. This game and the Argonauts' playoff hopes, as far as this evening are concerned, in the hands of the veteran quarterback Damon Allen right now, good on 12 of 19. He has calmed this Argonaut offense down and driven for the only touchdown we've seen tonight. First down, Toronto. And Fleming was there to meet the Argonaut runner. Here's Claude Fag.
Well, guys, you see Mookie Mitchell on the Argos sideline. He had actually gone out with his team to try to set up for the play, but he has got a bad hamstring. He's been suffering with it. On top of that, he's still suffering from a collarbone injury he suffered last week against the Owls. So needless to say, it has not been a good couple of weeks for Daryl Mitchell.
Well, tough for Daryl Mitchell. Up for Jackson left early. That's 2 stars out of the lineup. Both have had injury-plagued seasons.
2 veteran receivers, 2 big play guys. On 2nd down, Allen still has it. Got it away. Barely.
John Davis Sanchez on the corner made the play because Tony Miles was the primary target for Damon Allen, and he was trying to run inside. Watch Tony Miles, number 50, see Davis Sanchez play off. Now watch him jump in there. Jumps inside. Man, he's right there in the throwing lane. Damon Allen goes to throw it to Miles on that in cut. He wants to throw it right now. See him look over there? He's going to Tony Miles. Nope, I can't. There's Sanchez. I got to bring it down, and now I'm in trouble. That play is made by Davis Sanchez.
Finished off by Fleming and Young. So there's still hope for the Stampeders and in turn for the Renegades. With 3 minutes and 10 seconds to go, Argonauts hang on to a 1-point lead. Prefontaine across his 10 to get this kick away. It's a good one. McGarity chased back to his 40.
Returnable.
Has room to the far side. Michael O'Shea says no.
Big play.
7 yards on the return, a 55-yard boomer. And the Stampeders have 2 minutes and 56 seconds to go. And here's Mike O'Shea, big number 50. Again, the Argos' top Canadian. 2:50 to go here, and when we're done, we'll send you back to Sports Center. Petition and O'Toole are standing by. These guys may make it.
Excuse me, who are you cheering for? Who is that? Thank you. Just wondering.
Into the final 2:37 now. First down, Stampeders. McCullough spins. O'Shea.
Yeah, it was Walsh in England.
So was Chuck Walsh.
Yeah, in England, and Eric England. He was there too, and that was run away from his side because the Calgary Stampeders haven't run a bunch to his side, because that's the kind of player he's been, especially in the second half. And look, he's limping along there. He can barely run on his foot, limping through, and he gets involved in the backside of the play in the tackle.
2:28 on the stadium clock at Skydome. The Argos are that far away from moving on to the Eastern playoffs for the second time in as many years.
Maybe it's fitting their defense is on the field right now one more time.
2nd and 8 for the Stampeders. The only team at this point that can keep the Argonauts out of the playoffs. They've got a rookie at quarterback. It's Corey Paz. Ball puts his head down after making the catch, and he stopped right on the line of scrimmage. Boz didn't have anywhere else to go. Tonight's game story brought to you by Sport Check, Canada's largest sporting goods retailer. Sport Check, the best and the best value.
Damon Allen came out of the bullpen tonight for 138 yards and really calmed that huddle.
Tony Miles gets over 1,000 receiving on the season.
You know, Corey Paz has not done a lot of spectacular things, but he's moved the football, and he had his team in the lead for most of this game. Now they're just down by 1.
And Mark McLaughlin hit his first 4 and then rang his 5th off the post. So the Stampeders will kick it away. Oh, man, he gets a pretty good one here. Adrian Smith is cornered and rolled out about the 32-yard line. Argonauts have 1:35 to take off the clock and a 1-point lead. Stampeders haven't won on the road in a long, long time, and they're running out of time to do it here tonight in their final game of the season. Argos keep it on the ground. Nice fake by Damon Allen as he moves out of there himself, and this just might seal the deal for Toronto with 1:26 to go. Allen out to midfield.
You know, Damon Allen came off the bench for Marcus Brady. He is banged up as well. You know, and to play football at this level, you have to have a competitive spirit. And Father Time may be some players' greatest opponent, and Damon Allen continues to stay just a step ahead of Father Time. And he has been a stabilizing factor in the huddle, and that may be the biggest play of the game for his offense.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness, Calgary number 39.
Did I say seal the deal? I think that might have done it. Willie Fells after the play. So 1:24 to go, and already the Argonauts are in Prefontaine range.
Let's take a look at the end of that play. You can see he led with his head as Damon Allen was going down, and then tried to punch the ball, and then another push there, the quarterback down on his back.
Stampeders need a miracle. 1st and 10 Argos at the 41. Michael Jenkins for another 4.
You know, Damon Allen, when you look at what he's done this year, we showed his overall passing yardage.
Calgary.
2nd all-time in all of football. He passed Dan Marino this year. He's behind Warren Moon. He also passed Ron Lancaster for touchdown passes in his career.
334 is the record as it stands now.
And Damon Allen in his 19th season continues with that fight with Father Time, and one that eventually every player ends up losing, but he certainly has found a way to stay ahead of him. And his role as his career goes on the next couple of years may change a little. And Danny McManus in Hamilton may be in a similar situation. And he may have to come into training camp next year and earn a right to be the starting quarterback, something he hasn't really had to do for 10 years in his career because he's been the starter coming into camp. And Danny McManus may be in the same boat.
There's evidence here tonight from Damon Allen coming off the bench.
Absolutely.
Injured. And the only way that the Argonauts had any chance to come back and win this game was with Damon Allen at the controls. Another nice fake by Allen, who takes off himself again and goes down at the 30.
And he gets another key first down.
And that'll just about do it for the Stampeders season.
Well, and this is why you look at Damon Allen, and sometimes, yeah, I think he frustrates fans at times when he just hasn't put up the numbers at times that people want him to game in and game out. But you look overall and you look at plays like this in key situations in the game, You need composure. You need a veteran who makes the good decisions and can get you that first down. And I guarantee you, you put Damon Allen in the playoffs and he can win one still all by himself.
30 yards for Allen rushing on this drive.
Did I get you all choked up talking about the quarterback there? I'm sorry. Do you need a tissue?
No, I'm fine with that.
All right.
I need a fisherman's friend is what I need. 1:12 to go. It's the Argonauts by a point. It's Damon Allen with an impressive couple of runs on this drive to pretty well salt this away for the Argonauts and make Toronto a playoff team for the second time in 2 years and break a few hearts in the Renegade room over there in Ottawa.
Inspirational game from Allen, also from England.
Yeah, it's time to salute Glenn's Gladiator, I'd suggest here.
Hey, last one of the season.
To the house! Let's get some good blocking, baby!
Number 95, Eric England of the Argos. This is the kind of night he had.
Severely injured toe. He's been playing on one leg all game long, stuffing holes, going head-to-head with a big offensive lineman in Morley. And inspirational leader, vocally on the sideline, and then he can lead by example as well. He's a fitting gladiator, fitting Maximus to wrap things up on Friday Night Football.
This has not been a classic game. Michael Jenkins for 5 more for the Argo total into the final 49 seconds now.
Because the gladiator is not the guy with the touchdowns and the guy with the catches.
Gotta win this one, baby. Gotta win this one. Hey,
the gladiator
right here.
The gladiator is the guy.
It's 13 instead of 12. Get it right. Stat guy. Get it right.
The gladiator is the guy that if you were going into a trench, if you were on a horse riding over the hill to go to war, who would you want beside you? You'd want the gladiator.
I think so. Here's Michael Jenkins, number 27. Malvo was there. White was there, but they couldn't jar the ball loose with 25 seconds to go. Eric England on the season. 13 sacks coming in. One more tonight. He has 14. And he will be the CFL sack leader going into the final 3 games.
When it's all said and done, Argos and their fans and the football team may say, you know what, we won ugly. We won ugly, we won on defense. But we won, and we had to win this game to clinch the playoff spot now. They do go in banged up. What about Alfred Jackson? What about Daryl Mitchell?
What about Damon Allen from the start after he heals up a little bit from this one? The game will be Sunday here at Skydome, and we can't tell you what team will be here to play the Argonauts quite yet.
We still have to see who will cross over, but there will be 2 teams from the East, Montreal and Toronto. A crossover from the West will determine that by the end of the weekend, and Ottawa is out there.
An ugly win, as you say, but smiles all around for the Argonauts. Adrian Smith had a nice night for Toronto on returns. Set Toronto up a couple of times.
Tough penalty from the Calgary Stampeders. It's a 1-point win.
Yeah, in the final moments, the Stampeders bow to the Toronto Argonauts, and the final is 13-12 as the Argos head to the CFL playoffs next Sunday afternoon.
The CFL on TSN is brought to you in part by Wendy's, the official hamburger of the CFL. Wendy's, it's better here. By Molson Canadian, I am Canadian. And by Rogers AT&T Wireless. Imagine getting more from your phone.
Well, we've got one more game to show you this season, and the Ottawa Renegades were hoping this would be their shot for the playoffs. Not going to happen. They're going to play for pride, while the Alouettes are going to try and snap a losing streak as they head into the playoffs. Coming up next, TSN Sports Center with Dutch and Dan. They'll have all the news of the day from the world of sport that is coming up immediately. The player of the game, as voted by you, brought to you by Rogers AT&T, the veteran quarterback who came in off the bench, was supposed to rest up his shoulder. Didn't get that opportunity to, but they needed Damon today, and he's the player of the game. Commentator clothing brought to you by Mateo Moss. Thanks for watching, everybody. You are watching TSN, Canada's sports leader.